As we all know, ice beasts were the most proud and arrogant of all beasts, but they were also the most difficult to summon and for a summoner to form a contract with. So when summoners received an ice beast, they generally gave the summons a lot of face. But as the Ice Luan spirit bird was in Huang Beiyu's service, especially seeing her power, its heart felt that its owner was very good and felt that there was absolutely no loss. So seeing Huang Beiyu waving, it bowed its head. Although it was not happy, its obligation was to meet its owner's desire. As the teenager watched in disbelief as the ice spirit bird actually bowed its head, his round eyes were extremely happy. All the mercenaries surrounding them looked as if they had seen a ghost. Wow, Shi Tiandarin was too abnormal, actually getting one of the Wuling to bow just by waving a hand. What kind of devilish luck this kid have? Being able to touch the head of the Ice Luan spirit bird, he could go back and stamp his hands and make money off it. Thank you, thank you. The young teen quickly touched the head of the Ice Luan spirit bird. By Huang Beiyu's command, the Ice Luan spirit bird condensed the cold air surrounding it, so the young man's hand would not get frostbite. But when the brat touched his noble head, the Ice Luan magic bird snorted from his nose. Master, this kid's skin looks fine and tender. It must certainly be delicious. The Ice Luan bird spoke into Huang Beiyu's mind. She laughed loudly and spoke back mentally. You cannot mess with him. This child's backing is probably not small. Shi Tiandarin, how are you going to deal with the red spider's body? The young man asked excitedly as he touched the Ice Luan magic bird with his hands. Huang Beiyu looked at the red spider. Originally, she intended to throw it away, but since this youth had asked, it means that it would be useful. Do you have any suggestions? Yes. The young man nodded. This red spider is still alive, but since you defeated it, you can sell the tamed creature at the auction. The price would be very high. Oh. Hearing that she could also sell beasts for money, Huang Beiyu became very interested. How high? Since a high-level beast is harder to tame, if a summoner wanted to increase their strength, they must try to tame a beast higher than their own star level. So if a summoner had 3 stars and was able to tame a 5th-star beast, their strength would be able to rise to an advanced 3-star summoner or even 4 stars. However, high-level beast would not respond if the level of the summoner was too low, but there was an exception to the situation, and that happened when a beast was defeated. It would yield to any human. If it was defeated and the summoner did not create a contract, it could be transferred and others could then contract with it. As the young man endlessly talked, he became more and more excited. A more than 10-level spider, casual money could not buy it. When she originally went to the auction, she noticed the prices were not low. But she did not know that in the auction house the opportunities would be so easy to cheat. Shi Tiandarin, if you do not mind, you can come to my auction house. I will not touch your commission. The young man looked at the mysterious Shi Tiandarin. If she went to their auction house with a 10-level beast, his father would absolutely be smiling from ear to ear. It turned out that this young man's family ran an auction. No wonder he knew so much. Such an opportunity opened up when she was in urgent need of money. When can I attend the auction? Of course you can come at all times, but in order to sell it at a high price, I recommend tomorrow's auction. Today we will spread the news first as there are countless people who want to buy a beast in the capital. No problem. The more money the better. She could never have too much money. The young man took out a golden card from his bag and handed it to her. Tomorrow when you come to the auction house, show this card, and the people will inform me. Huang Beiyu looked down at the card. The card has the words Buji Air Auction House printed, while it had the Buji Air Family Cross Star Badge printed on the back. The Buji Air family was the most prestigious family on the whole of the Karta continent. It could be said that in any country, they have a very high status and prestige. They were known as the nobles of all nobles. Was this young man from the Buji Air family? Master Luo, you are here. From the mercenary group, a man suddenly shoved past a few people, his face anxious and pale. When he saw the young man, he immediately ran over. The young man's previously high spirits were immediately dampened as he bowed his shoulders. I was found. Without looking too closely, Huang Beiyu could easily guess the identity of the boy. The young master of a big family snuck out. This kind of thing was very common on the Karta continent. Because in the era, to become strong, was almost everyone's dream. This red spider. You keep it. I will come to the auction tomorrow. Not wanting to continue and become entangled with the Bougier family struggle, Huang Beiyu jumped on the back of the Iceluan spirit bird and soon left. The young man's eyes looked longingly at the high-flying Iceluan spirit bird, and he dreamily touched his right hand. He could not believe it. Just now he wasn't dreaming. Master Luo Luo. A group of people rushed over. Each one was not less than a high-ranked warrior expert. You worried us to death. Master knows that you are gone and he is furious. Come back with us quickly. Luo Luo Bougier raised his handsome face, and suddenly he laughed. My father will certainly praise me. Several of the warriors glanced at each other, but when they saw the red spider on the ground, they all had a shocked expression. Master Luo Luo, this is... The legendary Shi Tiandarin left the beast and decided to auction it at our auction house. Luo Luo proudly said. That legendary Shi Tiandarin. The warriors immediately revealed an expression of reverence and said, Master, you are really powerful, ah. Indeed, he is the top genius of our Bougier family, ah. Ha 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 dash, Beiyu dynasty. The mission was turned in at the mercenary trade union, and 1,000,000 gold coins were received in return. On the Carta continent, the currency in circulation were gold, silver, copper, and iron coins. 1,000 iron coins equals 100 copper coins equals 10 silver coins equals 1 gold coin. If a person had much money, they could use 10 gold coins for a Zhanglan Mu card. Money could be deposited in it, and when needed it could be removed directly. The Lan Mu card function was almost the same, but the Lan Mu card could only be used to store money, and the price was cheaper than the Zhanglan Mu card's price of 10 gold coins. Although she was satisfied that the ring was worth the price, since she did not have a lot of money now, Huang Beiyu did not intend to immediately buy the ring. Instead, she took a stroll around the Bougier market circle to understand some of the ingredients of this world. Shi Tiandarin, a person behind her, ran up, panting as he solemnly handed her a large gold letter. I finally found you. His Royal Highness the Prince sent me to give this to you. Let me give you. Since His Royal Highness went to the light-floating forest, he could not come in person. I apologize. That was a royal invitation. On the gold letter, one could vaguely sense the fluctuation of energy. A palace banquet? Huang Beiyu asked lightly. In her memory, before Princess Huiwen died, Huang Beiyu often frequented the palace, but because she was too weak and timid, the Empress did not like her too much. The banquet would be held at the Empress's palace, and although it was only the general banquet, with the specifications of this letter, it was clear that a lot of great men would attend. The family of the first princess would certainly receive an invitation, but the Empress was not in the palace. In addition, Huang Beiyu could not participate in the previous years because of disease. Remember, one of the concubines was poisoning her. The banquet will be held at the Empress's palace. Darren, you're the VIP. Thank you. Huang Beiyu said lightly as she received the letter, nodded, and left. She had specifically chosen this street last night as she had chased the sound of the Qin while on the Iceluan spirit bird. Here there were less people, but in front of the house, there were a lot of guards. The patrol teams were coming and going without slacking. This place looked too ragged and shabby to the eye. How could there be so many guards? As Huang Beiyu got a little closer, the soldiers on patrol immediately noticed her, but seeing her strange black robe and delicate stature, her body still gave off an elegant and mysterious atmosphere, causing people to not underestimate her. Being here is forbidden. Do not step into it. Please leave. A warrior said, striding forward, although his tone was still polite. Huang Beiyu stared at the old wooden door. She did not want to cause a dispute, so she turned around about to leave, when suddenly across the street came a carriage, which had many warriors in front as well as following behind. It did not look like it was for protection, but rather for surveillance. Slightly narrowing her eyes, Huang Beiyu simply retreated to corner while silently watching. The carriage stopped at the door. A warrior walked over to it and spoke, his face looking righteous. The prince is back. Please let us search. The carriage was to be searched? What a rare novelty. The warrior just finished speaking when the carriage curtain opened, exposing a sullen face. Your Highness is sick. What good is a search? When did we hide something? These are my orders from the Emperor. I have to act. "Ewan Darren, please forgive me." "Dee, forget it." A weak voice came from the carriage, wispy and low, as if it would be scattered if the wind blew it. And then a pale hand emerged from the carriage. "Help me get off." Hearing this voice, the warrior's chilled face appeared to ease a bit and fill with some respect. "Princey, I have offended." "No harm. Dee is too rude." The tone was so gently, yet held a faint, kind of invisible power that made people feel comfortable at heart. "Prince E?" Huang Bei, you searched her memories for the princes of each country. Yes, a decade ago Nanny Nation had fought against Beiyao country. The two sides were halfway reconciled. So the two sides exchanged political hostages. Beiyao Nation had sent the 6-year-old ninth Prince Feng Lian Yi. She remembered that during that year, Princess Huiwen had personally taken people from the city to go meet the young ninth prince. A decade had passed. Now the youngest son was all grown up. Unfortunately, he was still living in the enemy country as a political hostage. Beiyao Nation seemed to have no thoughts of taking the ninth prince back. Naturally, Nanny Nation did not mind keeping the prince of Beiyao Nation. Since ancient times, the emperor would have many heirs. On the Karta continent, when the enemy sent a political hostage, there was usually no chance of the hostage returning home. They usually got depressed, died mysteriously, committed suicide, or were tortured and killed when war broke out. The Prince Wei Yi, what kind of end did he meet? The young man called Yuan Di turned around and opened the carriage door, carefully holding the arm of Prince Yi and helping him down. The pure white clothes first greeted the eye, followed by long hair as black jade. Heading down the carriage, there was the image of a perfect side profile that left people breathless. While the figure was a bit thin, he walked down the carriage, untied the cloak off his body, then raised his hand, his voice low. "Search it." The breeze was blowing. Like the moon on spring flowers, he displayed an elegant temperament. Because his back was turned, she could not see what that person looked like. Slightly squinting, she coldly gazed at the thin figure who displayed such a gently temperament, just like a breeze beneath the moon, his back giving the impression of an immortal man. The warrior symbolically looked at the token on his cuffs, then waved to release them. "Thank you." Having the elegance and appearance of a rich son, he said his thanks, then grabbed Yuandi's arm and slowly walked away. The door closed, as the political hostage was no longer outside. The house calm was restored, and the patrolling guards began to walk around meticulously. Seeing that there was nothing else to see, Huang Bei you could only turn and leave. Although she was a bit curious about the person playing the Qin last night, since Nanny Nation would not treat a political hostage well, she would not go and give him trouble. Last night Qin and flute ensemble was unforgettable for her. That ethereal melody of the Qin hid a proud heart. If there is a chance, she looks forward to playing again with him. As the doors of the political hostage's palace shut, Feng Lian Yi took a few steps forward, then suddenly stopped and turned to look at the door which closed. His usual gentle and aloof eyes at that moment turned cold, glittering as it revealed a demon-like sharpness. "Your Highness, what is it?" Yuan Di did not like the warrior out front as he had ignored his impulsive anger and remained calm and commanding, like a general in front of the wind. "Nothing." Feng Lian Yi shook his head. His mouth quirked up slightly, revealing a soft smile as he laughed. Yuan Di's heart skipped a beat. Around people, His Royal Highness never laughed or smiled. So hearing the small soft laugh gave his heart a bit of a chill. Feng Lian glanced back, then continued moving forward. Yuan Di said, "Tomorrow the palace is hosting a feast. The letter was sent as usual. Will your Royal Highness attend?" Although His Royal Highness was a political hostage in Nanny Nation, invitations to all the large and small banquets would still be sent here, since several dignitaries of Nanny country admired the character of His Royal Highness. Additionally, as he had been a political hostage for 10 years, His Royal Highness had also met a lot of people. His Royal Highness would occasionally and carefully attend the palace banquet or some other aristocratic banquet. But within the past 2 days His Royal Highness had suffered a little cold. His body was not feeling well, so he would probably not attend. I heard that someone comparable to the 9-star summoner, the Battle Wild Prince, had appeared in Nanny Nation. Additionally, his summoned beast is one of the Wuling. Such a summoner, I would definitely like to see them. At the mention of the red-headed summoner, UND could not help grunt coldly. I do not know what Nanny Nation has done to have 9-star summoners appearing one by one. Before it was the Battle Wild Prince. Now again there was a mysterious red-haired witch. And both of them have a super high-level beast. Wooling, 2 of them had already appeared in Nanny Nation. With such strength, it made a person a bit angry. There are always others who are stronger. Did you forget? Feng Yi shook his head. Usually when they were outside, UND acted impetuously, but his usual character was calm. UND smiled, saying, Your Highness is right. A 9-star summoner, in front of the city of Shura, is not even worth mentioning. Feng Yi laughed silently, but in a shallow purple light appeared in his eyes. This feast at the palace is to win over the 9-star summoner. UND said, An unknown mysterious summoner, Your Royal Highness, do you want to check it out? No, just let it be. We'll just have to wait and see. At night, Huang Bei was in a room to study herbs. On the Karta continent, in addition to the enviable summoner profession, there is an even more sacred profession, and that is refining pharmacist and the equipment refining division. In general, people who understood how to refine medicines and materials were geniuses with rare talent. In addition to gaining the inheritance by blood, the most important things were access to materials. In each country, to gain the materials required major forces and a large family. So if a person had no familial background and resources, becoming a pharmacist was very difficult unless you could go on an adventure. Because of this, refining medicine and equipment had become an aristocratic exclusive skill. To buy a pack of low-leveled herbs in the Buji air market today, Huang Bei had spent a few thousand gold coins, causing her to understand why this profession was limited to aristocrats and so rare. Having no money but wanting to practice refining was not possible. Becoming a refining pharmacist and being able to enhance her own strength was too important. Since she could not gather energy, her body was too weak, she had to nurse it back to health, otherwise she would just be all talk. Tonight the moon was particularly bright. Huang Bei was sitting on the windowsill, trying to absorb trace amounts of energy from the heaven and earth into her body. Subtle strength flowed into the black jade. Though it was a small piece of jade, the internal space is very large. It was infinitely broad yet dark, and everything could not be seen. Attempting to use the energy and sense the surroundings through perception yielded the same result, as it still appeared dark with no visuals. Since the body could not father the energy, it flowed into the black jade and soon disappeared. Fuck. Huang Bei angrily slammed the table. What the hell? Why was she not able to gather the energy in the end? The body was obviously good even if it was weak. There was no way it could suck all the energy away. Wait, suck it away? A ray of light suddenly flashed in her mind. She immediately sat and began to absorb some energy, then slowly let the energy sink into her body. Slowly, slowly. As the energy circulated along her meridians, the flow was slowly but surely sucked away by some force. Not dissipated, but sucked away. Her face was happy and surprised. This discovery instantly threw away years of doubt. She was not supposed to be able to gather energy, and yet she did. Ha ha ha, after so many years, you finally found this secret. A strange voice suddenly sounded. The late night was quiet, and she was concentrating deeply when she suddenly heard such a strange voice. Not to mention mortals, even gods would have a heart attack. Huang Bei stood up, her eyes cold and fierce. Who? There was no one there. She could not even feel a breath. It's no use to look, you cannot see me. In the end, who are you? She did not like this feeling of being peeped on. The other person can see her and knew about her, yet she know nothing about them. You can call me Yin. T/N equals Yin equals nightmare. Tell me what you prefer or what manga uses. I did not ask for your name. Get out. Huang Bei shouted coldly, the murderous aura surrounding her surging. Yin seemed startled, then slowly said, I would come out if I could. Her cold eyes narrowed slightly. What do you mean? Well, close your eyes and I'll let you see me. Huang Bei closed her eyes. She had no worries or fear. Even if her eyes were closed, her other senses were very well developed. With her eyes closed, her body suddenly fell, and she immediately opened her eyes. A solitary lamp shone faintly in the seemingly endless darkness. Her feet stepped into a pool of black water. The water was flowing, and although the sound was very subtle, it was clear that it flowed forward. As she looked around, her heart had no fear, and was instead very curious. That Yin said that he would let her see him. Was he in this place? She walked slowly along the water. After walking for about a minute, she saw that the solitary lamp was always in front of her. No matter how quickly she went, there was no way to close the gap. Finally, she appeared in front of a tall, majestic prison. 49 copper pillars were erected in front. Each of them would need 4 or 5 people to lift it up. The top of the pillars were covered with dark gold paint that was painted into countless strange symbols like a spell. The energy flowed slowly around the pillars, but then suddenly those spell symbols suddenly burst with a flash of light. She looked up and could not see how high the copper pillars were, as if they were extended to another world. Such a huge, wide space, yet it was full of darkness. Such a thing was rare even on the mainland. Huang Beiyu walked forward, placing her hand on the pillar. There was a flash of golden light, then a huge repulsive force shoved her hand away. At the same time, 2 cloudy eyes as big as houses appeared between the pillars, staring at her strangely. Huang Beiyu raised her head. Her petite figure stood fearlessly, her face elegant, her eyes calm yet indifferent, looking the large eyes up and down. "What the hell are you?" she asked in her proud and arrogant voice. The huge eyes slowly leaned over, then gradually, the face of a red beast face appeared in front of her. After moving a little closer to the 49 bronze pillars, they stopped. "I am Yin. I know that you are called Yin. I am asking, what are you?" Yan's huge eyes held a trace of surprise. The saw that the human girl in front of him was not only unafraid, but also dared to speak arrogantly to him. "Ha, how worthy of the chosen person, ah." Yin laughed, and although they were laughing, it was full of a deep-seated hatred. Huang Beiyu held out her hand, snorting coldly. "Stop speaking nonsense. Speak properly or I'm gone." "Huang Beiyu, are you not curious about me?" The girl's indifferent face and attitude slightly stabbed Yan's pride. "Open up to me more." "What a joke. In my eyes, you're just a beast. And there is no beast that I cannot force to surrender to me." Yin breathed in heavily, causing the black water beneath it to surge. "So, you do not want to know where you are right now? If I want to know, then naturally I will know. You old monster. Stop trying to act mysterious before me." In her past life, getting targeted by aircraft carriers was just a simple game to her. So what could the bird monster before her be considered? Huang Beiyu brought back her hands and turned. Yin looked at her back and growled loudly. "Huang Beiyu, this is the Blackwater Forbidden Prison. You cannot get out. Even hell will have an exit hole if I hit it." After speaking, she had begun to summon the Ice Luan spirit bird. However, Yin began laughing and said, "Hit open a hole? Huang Beiyu, this is inside your body, ah." Huang Beiyu suddenly turned around. "What did you say?" Seeing that her calm expression was finally broken, Yin laughed strangely. "I have been sealed inside your body for 12 years. Do you not know why you cannot gather and use energy? It is because when you gather the energy, it is used to strengthen this forbidden Blackwater prison." The roaring voice set the water roiling, and the black water at her feet began to boil like a pot of boiling water. With a rumble, large bubbles began to form. In the silent dark space, the wind suddenly began to blow, whipping Huang Beiyu's hair around, but the solitary glowing lamp calmly stayed in place. "Ha ha ha! Ha 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 ha!" The laughter was full of madness as it reverberated in the darkness of the space. Huang Beiyu vision darkened. Then when she opened her eyes, she had returned to her room in the flowing cloud pavilion. A fine layer of sweat had emerged on her forehead. Her already pale face appeared even more wan. "Yin, come out," she shouted angrily. "Third Miss, Our Lady came to see you." Suddenly, she heard the sound of somebody knocking on the door. Huang Beiyu raised her and saw a few maidservants holding lanterns, with concubine Shui leading them into her yard. The palace banquet was over. The Shao family members were returning, and the front yard became noisy as more people came in. Concubine Shui had not known what to do for most of the night. Huang Beiyu took a deep breath, wiped the sweat from her forehead, and stood up to open the door. Concubine Shui looked at who was opening the door, and seeing that it was Huang Beiyu could not help but be surprised. "Third miss, how come that girl Dong Ling did not open the door?" "Dong Ling is sick," Huang Beiyu replied. Although her voice sounded cold and completely indifferent, it was clear that it was weak. Concubine Shui sneered in her heart, seeing that this sickly child was weak and that her face was as white as that of a dead man. She knew that Huang Beiyu was really regretting her actions against Angua Gong and his eldest son. Seeing that she would not even live for a long time, she did not even bother to try and coax her as she once planned. "Oh, third miss, how are you? Is your body not feeling well?" Concubine Shui walked into the room. Her maidservants immediately came in with a soft brocade cushion, draping it over a chair and allowing her to sit down. "My body is the same," Huang Beiyu said, but also forced herself to cough twice, her face melancholy and pale. Concubine Shui laughed. "With the things that happened yesterday, do not blame your second sister, that Shui Che and his family would make this decision. We did not know. She knew that with Huang Beiyu's personality being simple, as long as she was coaxed with soft words, she would be easily convinced. For so many years, didn't her occasional bits of charity cause Huang Beiyu to feel grateful? Sure enough, she heard Huang Beiyu immediately say, "How could I blame my second sister?" In Nanny Nation, who does not know that second sister is part of the leaders of the young generation? Not only does she have the title of a genius, she also has the looks of an angel, and with her identity, she is worthy of the price. When Concubine Shui heard her words, her eyes lit up instantly. She had never thought that this waste could speak so beautifully. It was her daughter, so of course she would be able to accompany the prince. Even if it was His Royal Highness the Emperor's son, it was still possible. It was just a pity that since she had the identity of a concubine-born daughter, Yuner lost so many good opportunities. Third miss, you say these words, yet with the identity of your sister, as a concubine-born daughter, how can she be a match for the prince? TSK really won't stop. Who knew humble words could be so hypocritical? Huang Beiyu sneered in her heart, but when she spoke her voice was innocent and ignorant. Concubine Shui, how can you say this? Concubine Shui is dignified and virtuous, coupled with the beauty of second sister. Father should definitely make you the main wife. Concubine Shui's face was glowing with ecstasy. This waste was really good at coaxing people. All the years spent not bullying her were not in vain. She tried to cover up her emotions and fearfully said, "Third miss, do not tease your Aunt Shui. How can I dare to want the seat of the first princess?" Well, of course the first princess seat could not be passed out, but she could still fantasize. Mother has been dead for many years. This home now has no mother. After so many years, this girl's lips had finally loosened. It seemed that yesterday's blow was too big, so even her last hope was shattered. Seeing that she could not longer marry Angua Gong's eldest son, she could only seek refuge with her. Concubine Shui was very proud. It seemed that this time, her luck was repeatedly good. She became the master's concubine. Her daughter Yuner would become the legal first wife of Shui Che. Despite her status being that of a concubine-born child, it was not even mentioned. While her heart was proud, with a worried face she said, "Unfortunately, your father prefers that cheap concubine Qin, plus since she gave birth to the eldest son. I am afraid that your father will soon help that cheap woman instead." When she finished speaking, Concubine Shui even began to pretend she was wiping away tears. "Your second sister and I have done you no harm, even if we sometimes have grievances, but third miss, since you did not have a mother to rely on, Concubine Qin always had her cheap people abuse you every time. Your Aunt Shui have been so distressed. If she became the head of the house, how would you survive the coming days?" Huang Beiyu furrowed her brows, looking melancholy as she thought for a while, then said, "In the early years when Concubine Yu was as the palace feast, she seduced father to her. The Empress Dowager was very dissatisfied with her. If father wants to make her his main wife, the Empress Dowager might not agree. The Empress Dowager really does not like that cheap woman?" Concubine Shui suddenly seemed as happy as if she had just grabbed some life-saving straw. Huang Beiyu nodded. When father accepted her as his concubine, The Empress Dowager informed the emperor, and he punished father by taking away a year of his salary. Yes, yes. Concubine Shui was very happy. This matter had caused a huge uproar, but people were still afraid to speak of it. Concubine Qin is the daughter of a prime minister, while she is a common woman who had no status. At the palace feast, Concubine Qin had openly lured/attracted the consort prince and had an affair with him, thereby making her his concubine. It was just that no one dared to mention thing that happened that year. Huang Beiyu looked at her beaming face, could not help but smile, knowing that Concubine Shui was slowly approaching her trap. But so many years have passed. I do not know if the elderly Empress Dowager still remembers. If she has forgotten because of old age, then it may be the Empress Dowager cannot forget. Concubine Shui's eyes flashed poisonously. Not only that, I have to let everyone in the city know. Huang Beiyu smiled in her heart. Yes, that it's. But, in the blink of an eye, Concubine Shui hesitated. That cheap slut has sold out for 2 years. The Prime Minister also supports her. If she knew what I was doing, wouldn't it be? Concubine Shui's family was just a civilian family living in Mianyang. When they were desperate, Princess Huiwen had taken in her family to help them. She had brought Concubine Shui to work by her side, thinking that if she had a good education, then she could marry into a good family. Who knew that she had been secretly targeting Xiao Yuancheng and seduced him? Not sure who seduced who tbh. With her supposed reputation ruined, Princess Hui Wencheng could only call the shots and allow her and Xiao Yuancheng to have a ceremony, making her a concubine. Even though she had no identity and no great family background, Concubine Shui was favored immensely at the beginning. Even when Xiao Yuancheng married Princess Hui Wencheng, her status did not change. But later when Xiao Yuancheng married Concubine Qin, who was the daughter of a prime minister, her position was shaken. In addition, Concubine Qin soon gave birth to the first and eldest son for Xiao Yuancheng, causing Xiao Yuancheng to love her even more. After that, Xiao Yuancheng continued going to other maidservants' rooms and made them concubines if they gave birth. If not for the fact that Concubine Shui had Xiao Yun, and that Xiao Yun showed her talent for being a summoner when she was 5 years old, she would probably have no status. She had to rely on Xiao Yun for so many years because although Concubine Shui and Concubine Qin were rivals, when speaking of their family backgrounds, Concubine Shui would be thrown out on the street. Concubine Qin came from the Prime Minister's family. How big was her backing? So Concubine Shui had always been afraid of Concubine Qin's supporters. If the Prime Minister knew that she was behind the attacks and harmed his daughter, she could not bear the consequences. Of course, this point was also considered by Huang Beiyu. Since she dared set this plan, she would definitely make it so attractive that the other party would dive into it. Gently coughing twice, her voice weak and soft, she said, Concubine Shui, she has the Prime Minister's backing, but I also have the backing of the Empress. She has abused me for so many years. I have had enough. You have been so good to me, so naturally I will be on your side. If something happens, you can just say that it is my fault. Concubine Shui almost burst out laughing. So glad you said those words. After so many years of not bothering her, in the end it had paid off. Third miss, you can rest assured, when I become the main wife, I will be sure to treat you as my own daughter. Concubine Shui hypocritically said as she tried to cheat her. For so many years it was Concubine Shui who took care of me. My heart is very grateful. Concubine Shui personally took the teapot from the hands of a maidservant and personally poured her a bowl, saying happily, Now I can only ask for your disease to get better quickly, then together we will eradicate Concubine Qin so that you will not suffer for long. Indeed, this Concubine Shui was not an idiot. At this time, she did not forget to let Huang Beiyu drink a bowl of poison. Although Concubine Shui looked delicate, her mind was not weak. Huang Beiyu took the bowl and sighed, saying, If not for Concubine Shui sending medicine every day, I am afraid that this body would have collapsed a long time ago. Finished speaking, she really took the bowl of poison and drank it. Concubine Shui was very smart on this matter. Every time she would personally watch to make sure that the poison was willingly consumed. It should be that third miss is certainly a blessing to people, Concubine Shui said as she laughed with satisfaction. Your good fortune, You and your dead mother can enjoy it together in hell. After drinking this medicine, I really want to sleep. Concubine Shui, I will not be able to send you back. Ah, you just rest. I will see you again tomorrow. Concubine Shui then led the maidservants and left. Once she was gone, Huang Beiyu's dark eyes suddenly shone with a burst of light. Stupid woman. Lifting her hand, black toxins were forced out drop by drop into the pot from her middle finger. Ha ha, for so many years. It seems that I was underestimating you, little girl. Yan's strange voice sounded again. Huang Beiyu now knew that they was inside her body, and that except for her, nobody could hear their voice. If she did not open her mouth, she could still communicate with them in her mind. Well, when the mussel and crane fight, it's the fisherman that profits. To deal with those two women, she was too lazy to do it herself. So young in age, yet you have such a vicious mind. That's not good. Yin exclaimed, You have not seen me being yet. I like to hold a grudge, so whoever provokes me, I will not let his ancestors or the next 18 generations have peace. A cold glint flashed in her eyes. Of course this includes you. Yin was shocked. It had not left the real world for too long. Yet the people had changed so much that a 12-year-old little girl could be so furiously arrogant. I was sealed in your body. The host's strong aura was such that Yin felt that the current situation was something they could not handle. They had stayed in the forbidden Blackwater prison for too long. Who was the person that sealed you? I cannot tell you his name, but I can tell you that there is a great relationship between that person and that piece of black jade. You know about my black jade? Huang Beiyu asked with some surprise. She was afraid that even the Ice Luan spirit bird was not aware of the existence of this piece of black jade. The beast without boundaries had brought her here, so she knew that this piece of black jade was sure to be hiding a lot of secrets. And since it had unlimited power, perhaps her being brought to ancient times with this treasure would give her the best life. So she had to be careful to protect it and not let other people find out about it easily. But how did this monster know? Yin slowly spoke. If not for that piece of black jade, I would not have woken up from that seal. I felt that a powerful person was approaching and thought that he had returned. I did not expect it to be you. Do you know what this black jade can do? She just wanted to figure out how to use this piece of black jade as soon as possible. Yin thought for a moment, then said, He placed a lifelong cultivation seal on the black jade. If you can break the seal, little girl, you can become the same as him. Seal? This ancient technique was rarely mentioned even by masters. The seal was kind of incantation, or a so-called spell. It was used to lead energy into the body. By using the incantation, it allowed the rules of heaven and earth to resonate, allowing a person to establish certain laws and achieve all kinds of supernatural powers. But this technique, nobody had heard of it for thousands of years. That man is the only one between heaven and earth who knows how to use the incantations. He had disdain for the world, and when Shura City and Guangyao, Glory, Temple attempted to crush him together, more than 300 heavenly-level summoners died at his hands. It was a war of ancient times. Yin said this very excitedly, but Huang Beiyu was confused hearing the words. Heavenly-level summoner? What a joke. On the whole Karta continent, nobody had heard of the presence of a heavenly-level summoner. A summoner's level was generally from 1 to 9 stars. Within each star there were 3 points, low, intermediate, and advanced points. Name of a genius, 6. Those whose powers surpassed 9-star could then enter the legendary Heaven and Yellow Realm/stage. Once at 9-star, it was very difficult for ordinary people to break through. Hence some were stuck at 9-star for hundreds of years and were not able to even take one step forward. For thousands of years, people only heard about the mysterious level summoner. Right now, Nanny Country's Crown Prince Zhang Yi was the most promising genius to break through 9-star. But God level was really unheard of. This old monster, he wasn't bragging to her, right? Such a powerful person. How did he die? Hearing Huang Beiyu ask like that, Yin suddenly started laughing. That kind laughter gave Huang Beiyu goosebumps. In order to seal me, he died. You? Huang Beiyu laughed coldly. Seems like you have stayed inside the seal for too long. Your strength has regressed a lot. When she saw Yin in the Blackwater Forbidden Prison, his aura was comparable to the Iceland spirit bird. But only later, when he was laughing, did it make her feel a tremendous pressure. However, this amount of strength, compared to a 9-star summoner, was like a piece of sesame. Yet he dared say that the mysterious predecessor that killed 300 heavenly-level masters in one war died because of sealing him? Humph! If it wasn't for concubine Shui who fed you poison every day, how could I be so weak? Speaking of this, Yin began to grit his teeth. Huang Bei, you almost died laughing. That concubine Shui mistakenly hurt the wrong person, but she had done a good thing. But now that you want to come out from the seal, it will be much harder. That is because I really dislike you due to the way you act. Yin humphed, we can make a deal. You help me lift the seal, and I will help you become a super-level pill master. How's that? Super-level pill master? The deal was quite tempting. Being a pill master in the Cardi mainland, how amazing. But, old monster, did you think that I bought so many herbs home just for me to look at? Those low-level herbs, don't tell me you want to. Did you know since little, this grandma has grown up with the title of a genius? Although there might be a little difference between the two eras' method of refining pills, to me, it's only a matter of time. She just wanted to try a little, so she bought some low-level herbs home. Obviously, she couldn't use the best materials. Yin panted in and out, sounding very angry. How can this woman be so crazy? Such a sacred career. Yet she spoke of it like it was the same as cutting melons and vegetables. So, what do you want to trade with me, so that you will help me? Yin, who was now under the black clouds, couldn't help but lower his head. The sealing technique was too strong. Those 49 pillars continuously absorbed Huang Beiyu's vitality to reinforce itself. If it continued like this, he would be forever imprisoned inside this Blackwater Forbidden Prison. Huang Beiyu took out the black jade, looking at it under the moonlight. Facing the moonlight, her beautiful lips formed a mysterious smile. I want the power within the beast without boundaries. Tell me, how can I enter it, and then I'll consider helping you. This, how would I know this? He and that man were enemies. An enemy's thing. How would he know? Then I'm sorry. If you can't think of a way, then get lost. Once my body gets better, and its ability to absorb energy becomes stronger, then I'll lock you to death. Name of a genius, 7. Huang Beiyu fiercely said, you don't even have any advantages I can use. What do I need you for? This monster wasn't a good thing. He also wasn't someone who was kind. If he had something worthwhile, then she could keep him. If not, she would have to think of a way to completely get rid of him. Otherwise, letting a sealed monster stay inside her body, she'd feel uncomfortable every second of the day. Huang Beiyu, if you continue talking, I won't even give you a chance. Scam and think of a way. Huang Beiyu snapped. If this woman with a vicious and poisonous heart dared to say it, then she would dare to do it. She said she wouldn't give him a chance, then he absolutely can't take it as a normal threat. Yan's heart was in a turmoil, but he could only slip back into the darkness. Having sent away Yan, Huang Beiyu took the herbs she had bought and tested them one by one. Her master was a very powerful person, and towards odd methods, he still knew them all. Taming animals and refining pills, her master had taught her everything. In her era, spirit beasts were few, precious materials were also few. Due to these aspects, it had limited her ability to display her skills. However, the Karta continent was rich in resources. Humans and beasts lived in coexistence. In the distant floating forest, high-level spirit beasts appeared and high-grade herbs were abundant. Every year, there were many mercenary groups who risked their lives to go there. If their luck was good, they could obtain herbs that were hard to get. Today, the herbs she had bought were only low-level herbs. There was no need to take risks for these low-level herbs. One could find them in a regular forest. From a cloth bag, she took out a small clay furnace. This broken piece of thing cost her 50 gold coins. The medical furnace had 5 holes. Every one of these holes had different attribute channels. Refining medicine and learning techniques were the same. By putting materials of different attributes through fire, using vitality and rules to mix them together and activating refining pills technique, they could get different levels/grades of elixir/pills. Pill masters needed strong and powerful spiritual perception as well as pure vitality. This way, they could feel and manipulate the process of refining pills. Huang Beiyu took a deep breath and placed one of the ice-attributed shueji grass into a small hole in the furnace. Then she immediately absorbed the vitality, swirling it around the middle of her palm. A whirlpool of vitality slowly swirled around her palm. She immediately took a low-level fire crystal, which pill masters used to light fires, and used it. Instantly, a small red fire burned in the middle of the vitality whirlpool. The fire and vitality mixed together. It flowed towards the path of the furnace and slowly entered. Small bits of fire began to appear inside the medical clay furnace. The shueji grass that had received fire from a pill master slowly began to melt. It seemed like there wasn't much difference between the modern and ancient pill masters. At least the rules were the same. The method that she had learned to refine pills could be used on this world's herbs. The title genius, one must be worthy of it. Seeing that shueji grass has already melted, Huang Beiyu wanted to put a piece of a wind-attributed luing grass inside, but at this time, a small crack appeared on the medical furnace. Huang Beiyu felt something was wrong, so she quickly retrieved her vitality, jumped to her bed, and used the blanket to cover her head. Bang! Name of a genius, 8_a burnt smell emerged from the room. Huang Beiyu lifted her head with a dazed look as she stared at the broken pieces. She half thought about it and started yelling. I relied on unscrupulous profiteers. They made me lose 50 gold coins. The first time refining pills, I failed. Huang Beiyu was so angry that her face turned green. One must know that the shueji grass from that bag was the most expensive. Its worth was 2,000 gold coins. Now it was all gone because she had made it explode. For her, who wasn't very wealthy, it was similar to cutting off a piece of her flesh. The vitality within your body is very strong. That kind of trashy medical furnace isn't able to withstand it. You should buy one of a higher grade. Yan's voice, which contained a gloating tone, suddenly could be heard from within her. Huang Beiyu said coldly, you say it as if it's easy. Do you think finding a high-grade furnace is that easy? The Ngua Palace has a lotus flame furnace which isn't bad. Ah, Yan said leisurely. Where's the furnace? Ngua Palace. Huang Beiyu squinted her eyes. Suddenly she giggled. Not bad, not bad. The things from Ngua Palace, it suits my tastes. Huang Beiyu, that is their precious treasure. Precisely because it's their precious treasure that I like it. So what if you like it? Even if you have the power of a 9-star summoner, Ngua Palace still won't give you the lotus flame furnace. Huang Beiyu started laughing loudly. Who said I want them to give it to me? The things they give I don't even want. I'll go rob it myself. Yin fell completely speechless. On the second day, the 9-star summoner, Shi Tiandaran, appeared in the Buji Air auction house, wearing a black cloak. Before she had even taken out that gold card that young Master Luo Luo had given her, the people immediately recognized who she was and respectfully invited her inside. Shi Tiandaran, please wait a moment. Young Master Luo Luo will arrive shortly. A beautiful maid brought tea and snacks. She secretly glanced at Huang Beiyu, her face blushing. Thank you. Huang Beiyu lifted the teacup and took a sip under her cloak. Her skinny and small frame had an unspeakable elegance to it, which made the maid admire her. As soon as young Master Luo Luo saw the message, he quickly rushed over. I apologize for making you wait, young Master Luo Luo said apologetically, as a slight blush covered his handsome face. No harm, Huang Beiyu said lightly. Are there a lot of people who came for the auction? A lot. There is a lot. Young Master Luo Luo said enthusiastically. Our appraisers have already confirmed that Red Spider is a rank 11 spirit beast. Once this news was released, most of the powerful families from the imperial capital came. Now the auction house is packed with no more available seats. Huang Beiyu was secretly happy under the cloak. She nodded her head slightly and stood up. Can we start auctioning? It's almost starting. We'll go to the guest lounge. Young Master Luo Luo led Huang Beiyu out. The auction house is very big and the lights are bright. At this moment, all the seats were all full. Everyone talked excitedly, all wearing an expression that said that they must get it. A rank 11 spirit beast, with it, One strength could increase a lot. A 3-star middle level might even be able to immediately jump to 4-star. The road was hard tln. Relied equals in Chinese. When pronounced in Chinese, it's kinda a curse. Basically, she is cursing at the person who had sold her the medical furnace. Darren equals literal translation is adult, but it's a respectful way of address people. People with some powers are addressed this way. Kind of like Shi Tian Sama. She's gonna become rich. 3. The auction convention 1. As young Master Luo Luo personally led Huang Beiyu to the VIP room, the people sitting in the room looked towards the mysterious 9-star summoner with a reverent and respectful gaze. Similar to a military parade, they just walked past the front row. Lord Luo Luo was 13 years old. Huang Beiyu was 12 years old. Neither of them were tall, however one was the young master of Bujier, the other one was a 9-star summoner. The background of these two kids surpassed every single person in the auction house. Huang Beiyu was already used to the scenes where people looked at her with respect since long ago, so she walked by in a very relaxed manner, with a cold and noble demeanor, unconsciously letting out an aura similar to that of a strong person. When they nearly reached the VIP room, a group of people from another direction began walking over. The Crown Prince came. The crowd suddenly began to move. Crown Prince Zhang, in the hearts of citizens of Nanny country, was their absolute pride. In the future, when he took over, he would definitely carry the citizens of Nanny country towards a brilliant future. That was what most of the citizens of Nanny country thought. Even the 6th princess has come. Really? From what I've heard, the 6th princess is almost at 3 stars. She is indeed the Crown Prince's blood-related sister Sai Si Buji, the current leader of the Buji Air Auction House, led the calm and cool-headed Crown Prince. Big brother. It's really big here, An excited and beautiful girl stood next to Zhang. A pair of big black and white eyes looked curiously at the auction house. It's a laugh for the princess, Sai Si said modestly with a smiling face. Buji Air Auction House in the Karta continent was very well respected. Even royalty wouldn't consider the people of Buji Air Auction House as ordinary people. However, this Princess Yingyi was a bit embarrassed. Hearing Sai Si's words, she humphed and sweetly said, Buji Air's family is rich and powerful. This princess cannot laugh. I heard that you're not even afraid of royalty. The Crown Prince sighed and frowned. Sai Si laughed. I don't dare. I am merely a businessman. All the royalties only give me some face. Zhang Yi swept his cold gaze across him, and Princess Yingyi also didn't continue to talk about this topic. Remembering why she came here today, she opened her mouth. That rank 11 red spider. This princess likes it very much. This many people came to bid. Doesn't that mean that this princess will eat a loss? The red spider has thunder attributes. Even if you take it, you won't have any use for it, Zhang Yi said lightly. This unruly little sister, she'd been spoiled rotten by the queen, so she doesn't know her limit. I like it. The things that I like, I can't buy it and play with it? Princess Yingyi said willfully. Sai Si's face was only full of smiles. Towards a 14-year-old girl, there was no need to argue, not to mention, she was a princess. Sai Si turned towards Zhang Yi and said, Today, Shi Tian Darren also came. He's in the 3rd VIP room. Zhang Ye's heart moved. It seemed as if red flame-colored hair floated across his eyes. He nodded his head with no expression on his cold face. However, his feet already began moving towards the 3rd VIP room. Father! Young Master Luo Luo, who hadn't entered the VIP room, had heard the sound and began to walk towards them. Behind him, Huang Beiyu stood while cloaked in black. It didn't seem like she had the intention of going forward to greet them. Princess Yingyi lifted her eyebrows, looked up and said, You are the newcomer who is a 9-star summoner. Shi Tian. Auction Convention 2. Moving ahead of Zhang Yi with one step, she crossed over to Huang Beiyu. A pair of almond-shaped eyes looked up and down towards the very normal quality black cloak. The seats at the auction had now been filled with people. Everyone's vision had turned to this side, their foreheads dotted with a large amount of sweat. Princess Yingyi really had spent her childhood being raised in the Deep Palace, not understanding anything. How could she think to speak to a 9-star summoner like this? The royal princess against a 9-star summoner. It was a worthwhile sight to see. Sai, the cunning old man, was also holding his hand, standing to one side and grinning but not saying anything. It was then that young Master Luo quickly said, "Your Highness, today we are auctioning the red spider, the one Xiantiandarin dealt with." Of course I know she was the one that dealt with it. The princess released a cold humph. "I really like that red spider. How about you don't auction it? Instead sell it over to me. I will give you a really high price." Using money to pressure people. This princess has no manners. Luo's face wrinkled. He clearly stated, "That red spider has been given to us the Bujier auction to auction. If your highness likes it, then please follow the normal auction process to auction." Ever since he had spoken a few words with Huang Beiyu at Luo Valley, witnessed and even personally touched her ice spirit bird, Luo was full of admiration towards this mysterious master, not allowing anyone to insult her. "I am the princess. If I said I don't want it to be auctioned, then don't auction it," Princess Ingyi childishly exclaimed, looking towards Huang Beiyu. "How about it? Do you agree or not?" The person under the black cloak didn't speak a word and remained silent, releasing a body of cold aura. "Hey, I am asking you something." Not getting any response, Princess Ingyi instead stomped and rushed over. Standing behind her was Zhang Yi, who had taken a step forward, grabbed her shoulder, and sternly stated, "Enough. Royal brother. This person doesn't even put me in his eyes at all." Princess Ingyi angrily pointed at Huang Beiyu. For the first time in her life, someone dared not to answer her questions. Eyes were firmly locked towards this side of the crowd. There was suddenly a movement. Shi Tiandarin moved. Huang Beiyu walked around Princess Ingyi, walking straight to the third VIP room, as though she had not seen the honorable princess standing in front of her. She really didn't put her in her eyes. Luo's face revealed a happy expression, too handsome. Xian Tiandarin's aura was superior, graceful, and dominating, not inferior to the royal family. Princess Ingyi was so angry that her nose was crooked. If her brother had not been pulling her, she really wanted to rush over and find that person to reason with him. Lord Shi Tian. As Huang Beiyu was going into the VIP room, Zhang Yi finally spoke. "Ingyi is young and naive. I hope you do not mind." To Ingyi, who has been spoiled rotten since little, even royal father was helpless. Huang Beiyu stood still, slightly turning her head, calmly spoke. "I do not care about two kinds of people. One is the weak and the other." Under the black cloak's vision, she had glanced at Princess Ingyi for a second. Fools. Princess Ingyi was stunned. Even Luo and Sai Patriarch were stunned. Those who had been standing near had also heard what Huang Beiyu said, all going into a petrochemical, hyped state. Only after Zhang Yi, who had been startled, the corners of Long Jun's mouth went slightly up. This Shi Tian. On the outside, he looked cold and mysterious. Who knew she could actually knock people? And it was that poisonous. In front of so many people, Ingyi lost a lot of face. She would no doubt think of more ways for revenge, which would lead to a headache later. The auction convention. 3. The auction room was silent for 2 to 3 seconds, then laughter filled the air. It can be heard that people intentionally lowered their voices. The more people, the louder the voices, and the laughter had filled Princess Ingyi's ears. Princess Ingyi's pretty face had quickly become distorted, a mouth of silver teeth almost crushed. "Shi Tian, I will remember you." "Ingyi, do not be childish. Next time I won't take you out." Zhang Yi held in his laughter. With a cold look, he would coolly say, "But she was the one to bully me." Princess Ingyi held her tongue, feeling wronged. In the VIP room, it's a luxurious room. On the side of the auction platform is a huge window. The VIPs inside could look at the auction situation and casually name a price. In the entire auction, there are about 20-something VIP rooms, and the VIPs who are inside right now have walked over to the window to find out what is going on in the third VIP room. Legend has it that the person who had defeated a rank 11 spirit beast, Shi Tiandarin, is in there right now, and everyone wanted to see how he looked like. Huang Beiyu stood by the window and glanced a little down. Initially wanted to see if anyone from the family of Shao was here. However, she accidentally looked over across to the VIP room on the other side. a white clear shadow appeared. The ninth prince of Beiyao country, Feng Lian Yi. Only, this time she could only see the back shadow. He had sat back to the window. On the other side is someone with silky clothing, and holding the fancy fan is Wanya Gongzi. That Gongzi is someone with an okay personality, a face filled with warmth and elegance. Not knowing what Feng Lian had said, he folded his fan and started laughing, giving the feeling of spring breeze. That is Prince Xiao Yao, Song Mi. Luo noticed that Huang Beiyu's vision seemed to stop at the VIP room, so he quickly said, the man with white clothes and his back to the window is Beiyao country's ninth prince, Feng Lian Yi, now at Nanny country as a prince that is sent as a hostage. Huang Beiyu lightly nodded. Her memory of Prince Xiao Yao was a hidden person. Nanny was top refining pharmacists. Looking at the whole Cardi continent, he is also at the top. This person embodies arrogance, having his eye above the top, rarely interacting with anyone. Even if it is the royal family's face, he might not even sell. Occasionally refining a few pills, it would make powerful people from all countries come over for grabs. Because refining pharmacists are so rare, like Songmi, reaching the 6th product level for refining pharmacists is even more rare. Can't even believe it. With the enemy's hostage, he is actually chatting happily. Huang Beiyu just slightly looked to the other side for a peek, then walked over to her seat to sit down, slowly sipping her tea. The auction was about to start. At this moment, someone had pushed the door coming in, speaking a few sentences at Luo's ear. Luo's eyebrow frowned, speaking lowly. Shi Tiandarin is probably not going to see any guests. Tell that his response to Nguogong. Nguogong? Huang Beiyu looked up. Her corners of her mouth suddenly revealed a treacherous smile. Coming just in time. Coming just in time. Young Master Luo, please tell Nguogong to come in.
Yes.
Luo scratched his head. He spoke in such a low voice, but she still heard. Soon, Nguogong came in with his precious son Xueche with an ecstasy expression, looking up to the person sitting by the window, one hand leaning on the windowsill, casually, with a small stature, faintly revealing the master style of the person under the black cloak, the light in his eyes almost becoming real. I am young Xue, fortunate enough to meet Shi Tiandarin and get acquainted. Nguogong politely walked up, bending his back, body filled with fat that trembled. The auction convention 4. Now you're calling yourself that. That time in Princess Zhang's prefecture. Towards her he was, this lord. Huang Beiyu, using a hoarse and clear tone said, Nguogong, no need to be so courteous. This Shi Tiandarin doesn't have the arrogance like other summoner. Letting Nguogong relax a little. Quickly, he pulled Xueche up and said, this is Xueche, who admires you very much. I brought him here specially just to greet you. Che-er, come here and pay your respect to Shi Tiandarin. Since he walked in, Xueche was overjoyed. The VIP rooms in front of them could see the situations outside. He could talk to Shi Tiandarin in the same VIP room. The next day, it would be known all throughout Linhui City. Xueche pays respect to Shi Tiandarin. Xueche almost bowed 90 degrees, very devout. The woman whom he had abandoned yesterday now became the one he admired the most. If Xueche know that the woman under the black cloak is Huang Beiyu, he will definitely spit out blood. This is the 9-star summoner who have the ice spirit bird. If she wasn't abandoned by him yesterday, then in their Ngua household, there will be a 9-star summoner expert. Then his wife will be this person that everyone respects. Unfortunately divorce, and all their connections are broken. Huang Beiyu coldly smiled. The son and father of Ngua obviously did not see it. The vitality on Xue Gongzi's body, it's the attribute of thunder, right? Xueche blinked and became more excited. Don't even need to see him move, just one glance at him is able to see that he have the thunder attribute. This Shi Tiandarin is what level expert? Yes. Xueche said excitedly, almost incoherent. That spider, it also have the thunder attribute. If Xue Gongzi is able to win the bid, maybe you could advance 1 star? An escasti-colored red emerged from Xueche's face, secretly thinks in his heart. Shi Tiandarin is giving him an advice. He's also concerned about his strength. A superior, 9-star summoner is actually worried about him who is a 4-star summoner whom he met for the first time. Could it be that Shi Tiandaran see that there might be something special about him? Yes. He must have some aspect that is special about him, and Shi Tiandaran saw. Xueche thought dreamily, but to say there is something that is special about his body that is found by Huang Beiyu, then there is one. That is the way his body naturally emit a stupid aura. The fact that she reminded them, Nguogong will definitely muster all his strength to get that red spider. Since he must have it, even if the price reach an incredible height, he will still buy it. The price that they must pay for angering her, let them lose some money first. Many thanks to Shi Tiandaran for reminding, I will definitely get that red spider. Xueche vowed. When Nguo Palace's father and son left, Luo is a big puzzles and asked quietly, Shi Tiandaran, that Xueche is always bossy in school. He always bully those who are weaker than him. If he get that red spider and his power gets stronger, then he will be even more arrogant. In his heart, Shi Tiandaran is someone who is like a saint being. He would never collaborate with someone like Xueche. So Shi Tiandaran reminding Xueche, there must be a reason. Huang Beiyu said lightly, if you dislike a person, you first have to put them on a high pedestal. Let him see hope, then let him fall down. Then you can finally say you ruined him. The auction convention, 5, Luo blinked his eyes. Then, coming to an understanding, his heart feels happy. So Shi Tiandaran doesn't want to help Xueche, but rather, Shi Tiandaran wants to completely destroy Xueche's arrogance. But, didn't Shi Tiandaran have just come to Lanlin Huai? How did Xueche offend him? Why does he want to deal with Xueche? Seeming as if Huang Beiyu saw through Luo's heart, Huang Beiyu lightly said, I have a friend who was bullied by him. So that's how it is. Realization suddenly dawned on Luo and he said, that Xueche is so arrogant. He even dare offend Shi Tiandaran's friend. He deserved to die. The auction hall suddenly quieted down. The auction had begun. The glamorous and young female auctioneer went onto the stage. The assistants also pushed a large golden cage onto the stage. On top of the cage was a restraint placed on by a summoners, which helps restrain the anger of the rank 11 red spider. Before the red spider have made an official contract with a summoner, the red spider still poses a threat. So it needs to be restrained using this cage, and outside of the cage, it needs to be restrained by using inner strength. The silk cloth on the cage was pulled off, but the inner strength is still surrounding the cage, restraining the red spider. The red spider stared at them with a fierce gaze. That deep red color of its body blinded their eyes. The thunder attribute of inner strength that its body emit is very strong. This is a rank 11 spirit beast that has been defeated, yet still have such a murderous aura. The hearts of the people in the auction hall beat fiercely. This is the first time they have seen such a high-level spirit beast. In their eyes are filled with greed. If only they could have it and form a contract with this red spider, then no matter how weak they are, facing any summoner who is lower than 5 stars or normal soldiers, they would be able to fight against. This means that it'll help make up for the lack of innate talent and directly becoming strong. And if they form a contract with the rank 11 red spider, when the red spider's cultivation grow, the owner's cultivation will also grow. With high level leading low level, the cultivation speed will double. On the second floor VIP room, Xueche's eyes glowed when he saw the red spider. He clenched his hands and trembled excitedly. Father, if I get it, then I will become more powerful. Nguogong rubbed his chin and nodded his head. The two small eyes on his fat and chubby face began calculating. Not bad, this spider. No matter how much it cost, we must get it. The father and son both have a glint in their eyes which showed that they must get it. On the next VIP room, Princess Ingyi sits on the windowsill. The pair of beautiful almond eyes stare only at the red spider, tilted her head, and said to the crown prince Zhangyi behind him, Royal brother, that Shi Tian really just used one strike to defeat that rank 11 red spider? Those mercenaries would not be lying, right? Even with so much distance between them, she can still feel the inner strength that flow through the red spider. Such a strong spirit beast, using only one strike to defeat it, isn't that too scary? Shi Tian's strength is very strong. You have to respect her. Zhangyi glanced at the red spider, but he is also surprised. How should I know that famous Shi Tian looked that small? Princess Ingi muttered. When she had entered the VIP room before, she has already been scolded by her royal brother. If you dare say those kind of things in front of her face, I will definitely never bring you outside of the palace again, Zhang Yi said coldly. Auction Convention 6. I know. Princess Ingi took a look at the red spider and said, Royal brother, if it was you, can you kill a rank 11 red spider with one shot? Zhang Yi slightly pouted his lips, raising his eyebrows, saying, killing it isn't hard, but to tame it, then probably not. If spirit beasts were that easily to tame, throughout the ages, the jobs of summoner wouldn't be that rare. Spirit beasts were born to be brilliant, rather dying than to surrender. If summoners and spirit beasts didn't cooperate together, it is really hard for them to be willing to surrender. In the process of battling, the strength used cannot be grasped so cleverly, only hurting the spiritual animal badly, and letting their emotions reveal a strong sense of fear, having no other way, not wanting to die. Therefore, the only way is to surrender, not being able to find a second option. Letting a rank 11 red spider to surrender, Shi Tian's power, is unpredictable. Ingi quietly spit her tongue. Is that Shi Tian really that powerful? The glamorous auctioneer was on stage explaining to the audience the grade of the red spider, strength, and origin. Once dominating Yuluo Valley for a couple of years, giving thousands of soldiers a headache, is the rank 11 spirit beast. Today can become the obedient spirit beast, even better to use than the summon monster. This huge desire, let everyone become mesmerized. Speaking to the part to who had tamed the spirit beast, the glamorous auctioneer turned her face towards the third VIP room's direction, both hands crossing over on the chest, facing the mysterious person respectfully bowing down. The beautiful girl smilingly said, Lei Si is really honored to be able to auction this high-level spirit beast for Shi Tian Darren. Much thanks. A faint voice from under the black cloak spoke. Lei Si then stood up, officially starting the auction. Under the audience's greedy eyes, Lei Si's charming voice spoke. The rank 11 red spider, owning him, can let lower-level spiritual animals upgrade 1 star. It can let warriors or ordinary people own a spirit beast, limited to only this one. It's really hard to get. The starting price is 8 million gold coins. Please bid. 8 million. In the VIP room is Huang Beiyu, who touched her nose. This price in the end is still beyond her expectations. She originally thought the price of the red spider wouldn't in any way be higher than the crystal fruit. If advertised well, can bid 1 or 2 million. She will still be very happy. However, she didn't think the family of Bougier would be so cheating, starting at 8 million. If this was the case, she could almost see a golden shiny road to make money in the future. Shi Tian Darren, is this starting price satisfying? Luo looked at her, because he couldn't see her, so his face revealed a cute expression of expectations. Satisfying. It should be said very satisfying. Huan Beiyu was laughing inside her heart. Young Master Luo, after the auction, how should I thank you? As a person, she didn't like owing anyone anything. If someone has done something for her, she will surely repay them back. Luo waved his hand, flattered. No, it is not necessarily, Father had said. You are able to come to our auction is already the biggest benefit for us. Our auction also needs to say thanks to you. Huang Beiyu didn't say any more. She will just remember the favor in her heart. One day when she has a chance, she will definitely repay them back. Not even close to 1 minute. The price has already been soaring to 15 million gold coins, and people are still bidding one after the other. The auction was hustling. Those that are able to bid such high prices are continuing to bid in full swing, and those that can't can only enviously watch. Auction Convention 7. Nguogong father and son didn't bid yet. Already the sneaky Nguogong knew. When the auction started and if he began to bid, it will reveal his deep interest for the red spider. Then if someone wants to go against him and continue bidding, he will be the one to suffer a loss. So he is waiting, when only a few people are bidding, and for the price to become more normal, then when he bid, he will be able to win the bid with just one chance. Humph. I will bid 20 million gold coins. 20 million gold coins. Still good, still good. 22 million gold coins. It had came from someone from the VIP room with a proud and clear voice. Hearing this voice, she lifted her indifferent eyebrow. Xiao Yun? Gee, even Xiao Yun has come to join in on the fun. She remembers Xiao Yun's body strength property is ice. Ice property and thunder property together can't produce much results, but it can increase the lethality. However, spending too much money on a thunder property spiritual beast, to her has not that much benefits, but since concubine Xue is willing to sacrifice a lot to let her come to auction, it is shown that both mother and daughter holds the Qing He Jun's country tax, and their days spent are nice. 25 million gold coins. After Xiao Yun's voice, Princess Yingyi had started speaking after. As though she had also seen the people in the VIP room, Princess Yingyi had begun to laugh. Oh, if it isn't Princess Zhang's prefecture, Xiao Yun who's born from a concubine. You also like this spiritual beast? Then come on and compete with me then. Concubine child, these two words had deeply stabbed Xiao Yun's self-esteem, her face revealing a burst of redness. But the opposing side is the princess, so she can't do anything about it, so she could only force a couple laughter. Please, your royal highness, have mercy on me. I don't like showing mercy. If I was to lose to a concubine's child, tomorrow when I go to school, I will become the laughing stock then. Huang Beiyu heard this and was laughing in her heart. So it turns out that this Princess Yingyi likes to be high-profiled, enjoy to eliminate people, and even using sharp word choices, sentences after another going straight for the key towards Xiao Yun. So interesting. It can be imagined that the always proud and opinionated Xiao Yun's facial expression now will reveal what a wonderful and interesting expression. Xiao Yun forced herself to laugh a couple times. At this time, the voice of concubine Qin also appeared. I'm saying, second daughter, how are you able to win against your highness? You're just a concubine's child, who if you let the princess lose her face, be careful that your highness will go to the emperor and tell on you. If the emperor is not happy, your father's days will not pass by peacefully. How can that be? It's just children playing around. How would that let the emperor to be unhappy? Concubine Xue hurriedly but carefully responded. Oh, fooling around. Princess Yingyi is the emperor's most important person. Sister Xue, it's not like you don't know this. Concubine Qin harshly exclaimed, her voice soft. Isn't that so, master? Xiao Yuancheng with a stern voice sternly says, Yuan, don't bid for it. You have ice property. What is the use of a thunder property? Although it is a pity, with Xiao Yun's talent getting that red spider will have a great help, but competing with Princess Yingyi to bid, better to not bid instead. Father, Xiao Yun childishly whined, you promised that red spider will be mine. Yuan, do not trouble your father, just a red spider. Your father loves you. There are other good things he will think of to give you. Concubine Xue knew better than to keep arguing. Concubine Qin's few words always stab in Xiao Yuancheng's wound. Ever since Princess Zhang had passed away, the emperor's attitude towards Xiao Yuancheng seems to increasingly become colder as day passed by. Auction Convention 8. Thinking about the future, now is not the time to do something to make the emperor unhappy. Listening to the noise over there, Huang Beiyu laughed ecstatically inside her heart. So Xiao Yuancheng and the others had also come. If only she had known earlier, then she would have set a trap for them. Her mind had flashed by quickly. Huang Beiyu all of a sudden waved to Luo Luo. Luo Luo's handsome face turned red, lowering his head, letting Huang Beiyu speak a few sentences to his ear. He smelled a faint smell of perfume. It is a girl's special type of body scent, and mixed with a little medicine incense. Inside his heart he was surprised. So Shi Tiandaran was a woman. Even though Lin Huaicheng had spread a rumor that there was a 9-star summoner that was a red-haired witch, Luo Luo hasn't ever believed it. So the powerful Shi Tiandaran really is a girl. And it seems her body still has young girl's incense young girl. Once these two words made its way to Luo Luo's mind, Luo Luo's face turned beet red. Is it okay? Huang Beiyu lifted her head, looking at his handsome face which was slowly turning red, was stunned for a moment. Young Master Luo Luo, what happened? Oh, no, nothing. Luo Luo hurriedly shook his head. His heart was panicking. I'll immediately go do it. Running outside panicking, and even tripped a couple times, almost falling down. Huang Beiyu, who was looking, was also worried. What is wrong with this kid? Turning around to see what is going on in the auction, the bidding right now can be described as going into its highest peak. There was fewer people who were bidding. The likelihood for the price to increase is decreasing. 60 million gold coins. Princess Ing Ye's clear voice rang. The auction venue had become silent for a while. No one dared to compete against the princess. However, the desire to own a spiritual beast is too big. It was such a dilemma. Nguagong sneakily laughed a couple times, slowly raising his sign from the VIP room. 65 million gold coins. Lei Liya's beautiful face revealed a smile that would have let all the men be distracted. Nguagong bids for 65 million gold coins. Is there anyone else who will bid higher? Jumping past 5 million gold coins all of a sudden. This type of generosity, no doubt it is Nguagong. Ingyi glanced at her, carelessly blurting out, 70 million gold coins. Nguagong's eyebrow twitched a couple times, but still remaining calm, raising his sign. 72 million gold coins. 75 million gold coins. Princess Ingyi not even letting down a bit. Inside Nguagong's heart he was already starting to insult her. This immature princess doesn't know anything. What does she want with a thunder property spiritual beast? Always coming out to spoil his plan. However, 75 million gold coins doesn't count that much. To their Nguagong's house, money isn't the problem. They need strength. The stronger the strength, the better. This old fat man in Nguagong's heart is very restless. A greedy heart. Right now is beating quickly. 78 million gold coins. Nguagong continues to raise his sign. At this time, the VIP room in which Princess Ingyi is in, a servant came running in, politely speaking a few sentences to Prince Zhanyi. Zhanyi raised his head, looking towards Huang Beiyu. Huang Beiyu slightly raised her glass at him. Zhanyi nodded at her, immediately going over to grab Princess Ingyi, who was going to name her price. Her small movement was seen by the third VIP room's Xueche, who was paying attention to her. Xueche's heart suddenly became excited. Shi Tiandarin really was helping him. A 9-star summoner. Actually valued him so much, he needs to get this red spider. Princess Ingyi was scolded by Zhanyi, then sat on one side pouting, but didn't participate in the bidding anymore. The auction convention, 9. After that, only Nguagong and a few others who are capable are left. But Nguagong's family is rich every time. He always adding a few 10,000s of gold coins, so his opponents are helpless. Seeing that less and less people are bidding, the price stopped at 99 million gold coins. 99 million gold coins, this price, although it had surpassed a little of what he expected, but he is still willing. 99 million gold coins, is anyone else willing to bid? Lei Lisi smiled and looked at the stage. After the bidding had started, many people already have beads of sweat appear on their forehead. 99 million gold coins, it's an impressive figure. For buying a few high-grade products, it's enough. It'll allow her to practice refining pills without worrying about her wealth. Starting the bid from 8 million, increasing it to 99 million, this figure already made her very, very satisfied. Now, just waiting for the beautiful auctioneer to knock the hammer to finalize it. Nguagong showed a relaxed smile, lifted his teacup to drink his tea leisurely. Rank 11 red spider, finally in my hand? Xueche murmured. He has already stood up, looking at red spider that will finally become his property. However, at this time, an elegant voice sounded. 100 million gold coins. Nguagong spit out his tea. His eyes bulged out from his fat face, immediately looking for the person who had just spoken. Who is it? Lei Lisi's charming voice is full of excitement. Prince Xiaoyao bid 100 million gold coins. Is anyone else willing to bid? That charming and mature face slowly began to blush attractively. Lei Lisi looked admirably at the 16th VIP room's man who's dressed in a dark attire. His hand holding the fan, elegantly fanning it. A few wisp of black hair brush his pair of spring-like eyes. A faint smile slowly formed at his lips, so elegant and handsome. Even the flowers next to him lose their beauty compared to him. His laughter quickly swept the crowd. Finally, his laughter landed on Nguagong's fat face. Thank you, Nguagong, for letting me have it. That one smile. Even Huang Beiyu, whom have seen all kind of celebrities and aristocrats, was also absent-minded for a second. The title of Prince Xiaoyao isn't just for show. That kind of ability, the way he elegantly laughed down at the world, it is indeed happy. His name means carefree and happy. Feng Lianize, who is behind him, is even more indifferent. Inside the VIP room, it is not known when they had placed a chessboard. His back faced the crowd as he studied the chess pieces, seeming as if everything within the auction hall is not related to him. Nguogong's fat face formed an ugly smile, coldly said, "Prince Xiaoyao is a pill master. I don't know what you would need the red spider for." Prince Xiaoyao smiled faintly. This prince heard that even if you're not a summoner, still could make a contract with the red spider. I am a pill master, so I'm not skilled. So I hope that the red spider will protect my safety. What a joke. Nguogong's face twitched. As the top pill master in the Cardi continent, how many experts would rush to come to lift his shoe? How would he face any danger? That smelly little kid with the surname of Song is deliberately going against him. He must have that red spider. How could he give it to someone else? Auction Convention 10. 110 million. Nguogong had an amazing aura. Humph, such a high price. The whole country of Nanyi, how many people would even be able to bid with this price? However, the angry Nguogong seemed to forget about that refining pharmacists on the continent of Cardi is one of the few jobs that make the most money. Prince Xiaoyao was calm, softly folding his fan back and forth. 120 million. 130 million. No way was Nguogong going to surrender. The audience was speechless. Really rich people when adding on to the previous prices, they always increase it by 10 million. 10 million? Regardless of how much Nguogong clenched his teeth bidding a higher price, Prince Xiaoyao always bid closely behind, pressuring him down. In the end, Nguogong's fat face has become distorted. Lifting his hand to wipe off the sweat from his face, thinking in his heart that this time he wouldn't be able to win against this kid. Songmi, how about? Just as he had the idea to give up, Xueche came closely and whispered, "Father, this red spider and I are both thunder property. If I have him, no doubt it will benefit and make me more powerful, and our strength will also advance a level." Nguogong swallowed his saliva. But with the situation now, if he continues to compete with Songmi, he is scared he wouldn't be able to win. Now the price had almost risen to 200 million. This was not a small number. The Nguogong house is rich, but if he continues to add the price, they probably wouldn't even be able to buy it now. Looking over to one side, he saw Prince Xiaoyao remaining calm, not even wrinkling his eyebrow once. Nguogong felt mad in his heart. "Prince, are your highness leaves well?" Following Feng Lianyi's side was bodyguard Yuan Di, who walked up, whispering. Songmi laughed, walking back, observing the checkerboard, quickly placing down his part, then start over at the window, continuing to bid price. Nguogong, who had saw this, was so mad that his nose was crooked. This Prince Xiaoyao is a son of a bitch. What is his motive today? Is he purposely playing him? Humph. Dare to play him. He is not someone to go against either. You want high price? I'll give you a high price. 250 million gold coins. Nguogong suddenly shouted the price. Then look over triumphantly at Prince Xiaoyao. I dare you to add, continue to add, this red spider. Today, even if this old man didn't want it, it's fine. But it is necessary to give you a high price, so you will spit out blood. After this high price was yelled, the people in the auction started to murmur. 250 million gold coins. Nguogong is too generous. The audience's eyes went to Nguogong, and then look over to see Prince Xiaoyao, who didn't even blink his eyes. As a refining pharmacist, every year the number of people bringing gold/silver mountains to Xiaoyao begging him to refine medicine was unknown. His wealth probably cannot even be calculated. 250 million, to Prince Xiaoyao, is probably only a small number in his eyes. The audience now have the ability to endure whatever is going on, all waiting for Prince Xiaoyao to add on to the price. Today, bidding a price to the heavens wouldn't even come as a shock. Huang Beiyu also looked towards Prince Xiaoyao. This person didn't seem like he is eager to get the red spider, more like bidding such a high price to cheat them. What? Cheat people? Huang Beiyu slowly began to laugh. This person is quite interesting. Nguagong is quite generous, 250 million gold coins. Gee, never mind, never mind. I am always frugal, such a luxury spiritual beast, can't afford it. Prince Xiaoyao suddenly folded his folding fan, personable, turning over to Nguagong softly smiling. Congrats to Nguagong for bidding such a high price to snatch this rare treasure. From now on, the country of Nan-Yi will have another master. I'll let you have it one. Hearing this, Nguagong no doubt had understood that Prince Xiaoyao wanted to play a trick on him. He immediately got so angry that smoke is rising out of his face, almost becoming breathless because of his anger. Originally, with 100 million gold coins, he could have solved the problem. Now, because of this son of a bitch's interference, the price had rose another 150 million gold coins. 150 million gold coins, ah. That is the income for half a year of Nguagong's house. But this Nguagong can also be counted as an important figure. Having been attacked in front of everyone, he actually was able to contain his fury still, which shows that he has such a very deep and sophisticated mind. He stood up, cupping his hand as a sign of respect, saying, Prince Xiaoyao, you're a competitor worth having. You are welcome. Prince Xiaoyao slightly smiles, the typical kind of getting more than bargained for and acting good. At the auction stage, seeing that no one had bid a price, then a hammer had landed down. Congrats, Nguagong, receiving this rank 11 spiritual beast. After paying the payment, Shitia Darren will come help you complete the contract between you and the spiritual beast. If it isn't the tamer and the spiritual beast that had tied the knot, the tamer must be present. Otherwise, the spiritual beast will rebel. Even though the price was higher than expected by around 100 million gold coins, but being able to get this rank 11 spiritual beast, Nguagong and his son felt a little better. Xueche cannot wait to stand up, going over to complete the contract with the red spider. However, at the auction stage, a beautiful girl came walking up with a tray. Lei Li's eyes sparkled, receiving the tray, saying, Today there is a really unexpected surprise. Everyone knows that Shi Tian Darren's spiritual beast is one of the 5 spiritual beasts, Ice Luan Spirit Bird. Yesterday, Shi Tian Darren used the Ice Spirit Bird's one ice feather as a weapon, taming the red spider. Once the audience had heard something related to Shi Tian Darren and the Ice Luan Spirit Bird and seeing the auction item, everyone began to listen immediately with interest, their 2 eyes staring at the tray. What treasure is it this time? Lei Li didn't plan on withholding the information from everyone. With one hand, she revealed the red silk on the tray. A dazzling color like the snow begins to shine. The watercolor of a gem, which made everyone's eye reflecting a pure ice blue color. Ice feather. It is an ice feather, ah. Can this be the ice feather from the Ice Luan Spirit Bird? Many people had gasped, getting excited, ah. Just an ice feather from the Ice Luan Spirit Bird. Even if people are just watching from afar, they are still able to feel the inner strength and the domineering aura that belongs to the super spiritual beasts. 5 spiritual beasts are such precious jewels. Now the whole continent, Prince John Yi of the country of Nanny owns the purple fire unicorn, and Shi Tian Darren owns the Ice Luan Spirit Bird, as well as East China and West Rhone country who each owns one. The last one has yet to appear. The vast continent of Cardi, with numerous spiritual beasts, but only these one, are sacred and inviolable. The summoner who possesses the 5 spiritual beasts, having a status in all the countries that many admire, didn't even need to auction anything off the body of the spiritual beast. So with the appearance of the ice feather, immediately setting off a huge wave of excitement to the entire auction, the beautiful auctioneer Lei Li temptingly exclaimed, This ice feather is the one used yesterday to tame the red spider, not only rare to own, but holds an extraordinary meaning too. Father, that is the ice spirit bird's ice feather, ah. Ice property, the same as me. If I had an ice feather as a weapon, my strength will most definitely advance another level. In the VIP room next door, Shui Yun had lowly exclaimed. On the other side, Huang Beiyu had satisfyingly lifted her corner of her lip. Not bad, an ice property summoner owning a high-grade weapon, their strength will most definitely multiply. And this is why refining pharmacists and refining toolmasters had received a lot of admiration on the continent. I'll let you have it too often. A good refining pill master will also be a talented refining tool master. If there are good materials, a high-level refining tool master would be able to create a high-level weapon. A weapon is a key component in a combat. A 3-star summoner with a high-level weapon is able to fight on equal grounds with a 4-star summoner who doesn't have a high-level weapon. Of course, that is if you are able to control the soul of the high-level weapon. Hee, you aren't thinking about selling that ice feather to your older sister, Yin said from her heart. Why can't I? Yin smiled coldly. If she can't control the soul within that ice feather, then the aftermath will be a bit serious. It's not my problem. She sells things. Her product's quality have no problem. How it's used is all up to Xiao Yun. Moreover, Xiao Yun does not necessarily have the ability to win the bid for the ice feather. In any case, you guys are still blood-related sisters. Blood-related sisters. Does she even qualify? Huang Beiyu coldly sneered. The people who are good to her, and those who aren't good to her, she clearly knows how to distinguish them. Yin released a joyful sigh. This little girl's spirit and character, he really likes it. That kind of cold arrogance, but not lacking of unfeeling evilness, is close to his spirit aura. The two of them, is simply born to be together. That year, that person had sealed him inside Huang Beiyu's body in order to suppress his evil influence. But that person would have never thought. The person he picked personally, in fact, have the same spirit as him. Yin was laughing evilly when, at the same time, on the auction stage, Lily Sure is about to announce the staring price for the auction item. Shi Tiandaran have decided to sell the ice feather for 1 gold coin as starting price. Please bid. 1 gold coin? 1 gold coin. One feather of the ice luan spirit bird, with only 1 gold coin as the starting price. This is like the sky is dropping pies. That Shi Tiandaran must be an expert. Such an expert style, making everyone respect him. After everyone expressed their gratitude and thanks to Huang Beiyu, they began to muster their strength to bid. They all want to get that ice feather. Everyone's afraid of letting others be one step ahead of them. Therefore, everyone is increasing the price rapidly, simply chaotic. When the bidding began, it increased by a few hundred of gold coins. Afterwards, it increased at tens of thousands of gold coins. And when the genius, Xiao Yunyi in the VIP room added 1 million gold coins, the price began to rise even more quickly. Huang Beiyu listened to the figures, smiled so much that her mouth almost crooked. If the black cloak isn't blocking her, allowing young Master Luo see her like this, he will be greatly surprised. I would have never thought your feather is worth so much money. I bet I will never be out of money in the future, haha. Although the Ice Luan spirit bird isn't here, Huang Bei, you can communicate with her inside her heart using spirit force. Her words, the Ice Luan spirit bird can obviously hear. Master, in fact, there are many medicinal herbs that are worth more than my feather. Next time, I can take you there to look for it. The Ice Luan spirit bird quickly said, as he thought about being plunked in the future. He feels like the world is going to end. He doesn't want to be a featherless bird. Huang Beiyu mischievously laughed. Medical herbs is valuable. Your feather is also valuable. Father, this ice feather you must win the bid for me. Next door, after Xiao Yun heard the quickly rising price of the bids, she can't help but feel urgent. So there's a snowstorm tomorrow from where I live. I might not have Wi-Fi, so I might not be able to post anything tomorrow, see. I'll let you have it. 3. Xiao Yuancheng saw that the VIP room across his, Princess Yingyi, seems to have no intention of fighting over the ice feather. She lazily sat there, not ready to bid. Since the princess is not fighting for it, then he can bravely bid. Xiao Yun is his favorite daughter, the pride of their Xiao family. She is also their biggest hope. Because of Yun'er's talent, the esteemed father pays him a little bit of attention. So as long as it's Xiao Yun's request, he will definitely do his best to fulfill it. Good. No matter how high the price is, father will definitely buy it for you. Xiao Yuancheng said boldly. Xiao Yun was happy and immediately continued to bid. She was extravagant with the money she bid, making people flabbergasted. Concubine Qin was unhappily and coldly humphed. Huang Beiyu's hearing ability is great, Because of her strong spiritual power, the little movements around her cannot escape her eyes and ears. So the movements next door, she is crystal clear on what's happening. She cannot help but coldly sneer inside. They're both his daughter, Xiao Yun and Huang Beiyu, but the treatment for one is up in the sky, while the treatment for the other is down below the ground. Huang Beiyu is only this little. Except the years that Princess Zhang was still alive, Xiao Yuancheng would still follow etiquette. When Princess Zhang have died, Xiao Yuancheng's attitude could be seen as a stranger who's even more of a stranger. He didn't even give her a iron coin since Princess Zhang's death. And Xiao Yun? She was put inside his palm, standing highly above. Whatever she wanted, she get. Hung, similar to Humph, Xiao Yuancheng. One day I will make you pay for everything you've done in the past. 50 million coins. Xiao Yun throws out a high price and powerful and resonating voice, immediately shocking the people in the auction hall. She stands proudly and arrogantly like a princess, standing outside of the window. Even though there is a lot of noble ladies and gentlemen watching her, she also thinks that the her right now is very eye-catching. The identity of a child of a concubine that had bought her the pain of inferiority, but now that pain went away a little bit. The people in the auction house look at each other in dismay. Although the ice feather of the ice Luan spirit bird is very precious, but for people who doesn't have the ice attribute, there isn't any practical effect. To high-star summoners, the use of it won't be that great. Those below 6 stars would be able to exert/use more of its powers. Everyone is fighting for it. That's only because it's part of the five spirits ice Luan spirit bird, which is precious and rare. A feather to put at home. It could also be a family heirloom. But to use 50 million gold coins to bid for it, then hasn't that person gone crazy and lost their mind? That Xiao Yun is a genius who have an innate talent that haven't been seen for 100 years in the Xiao family. It just so happens that she have the ice attribute. If she have the ice feather of the ice Luan spirit bird, her ability will increase greatly, so she have to spend a lot. After the price of 50 million gold coins was announced, no one else have continued to bid. Xiao Yun is joyfully satisfied as she looked at Lei Li Si hit the hammer. That ice feather of the ice Luan spirit bird is hers. Congratulations to young lady Xiao Yun to win the bid for the ice feather. Lei Li Si smilingly said. The auction ended. Huang Beiyu also stood up. She went to the lounge in the back of the auction house to help Xue Che and the Red Spider make a life contract. In the lounge, Nguo Gong and his son have already waited there expectantly. The patriarch of Bujier, Sai Si, is also there. Also the beautiful auctioneer, Lei Li Si, as well as Crown Prince Zhan Yi and Princess Ying Yi. That red spider is kept inside the cage. Its body glowed brilliantly red. However, it's full of killing intent. A pair of angry eyes viewed the people around it as enemies. The red spider's legs made threatening gestures, waving them. The 8 legs would bring intense and sharp sting, while thunder rays formed around its body in a protective field. Just by seeing the light, one would know how powerful this red spider is. I'll let you have it. 4. Xue Che's face revealed a really exciting look. Strong, too strong. He can already imagine. Not long, this red spider will completely surrender to his feet, doing as he please. This is more arrogant than the contract between the superior beast and its summoner, because the contract between the superior beast and its summoner is mutually using each other. Sometimes the summoner will still be afraid of the spiritual beast. However, this red spider is already tamed by Shi Tian Darren, waiting for him to conclude the contract. That is not mutually helping one another, but rather the red spider had bowed down to him. That red spider seems to know that Xue Che is the one that will enslave him. The whole body shining, a pair of eyes sparkling sharply, revealing a killing aura, staring at him ruthlessly. The front 2 legs keep flapping at the cage. It seems like it wants to rush out and tear Xue Che apart then swallow him. This rank 11 spiritual beast's angry aura is not a joke. Xue Che looked at it and swallowed a mouthful of saliva, trembling in his heart. At this time, young Master Luo Luo pushed the door open. Behind him the person under the mysterious cloak came in, body filled with coldness. With a petite body, but the aura of the elegant, cold, and strong woman was evident. Once she walked in, that mad red spider immediately calmed down, seems to bring it. Its eyes turned towards Huang Beiyu. After that, it immediately retreated back a couple steps. The rays began to flash more intensively, its 8 legs putting out a look of self-protection, protecting its body, obviously being afraid of this person. From being unprecedented to being a follower, all because of a person's presence. Zhang Yi couldn't help but to look over at Huang Beiyu, thinking in his heart, this Shitian really is powerful, and only the spiritual beast that was tamed by her knows how strong and scary her strength is. Shitian Darren. Xue Chei's eyes shined. Walking over to her excitedly, bowing over to her, thank you so much. Huang Beiyu only slightly nodded her head. The lounge contained so many important people, yet she didn't make eye contact with anyone, such a proud and cold aura, but not making anyone feel unpleasant. The arrogance of the strong is also respected by people. She walked straight over to the cage, lightly exclaiming, begin. As she was talking, she opened the cage containing the high-level inner strength protection. This movement led everyone in the lounge to let out a gasp. Princess Ingyin loudly exclaimed, hey, be aware of the thunder surrounding it which can injure people. After the auctioning from before, the contest between Princess Ingyi and Xiao Yun, Huang Beiyu's impression of the princess wasn't as bad anymore. Plus, even though Princess Ingyin had shouted loudly somewhat impolitely, it was because she was afraid that the red spider's thunder would hurt her. No problem, she lightly says. Compared to the tone in the VIP lounge when she called Princess Ingyin a fool, it was much softer. Princess Ingyin blinked her eyes, closing her mouth, but in her heart she was thinking, this person is so weird. Why did her tone get better all of a sudden? With the cage open, because the red spider was afraid of Huang Beiyu's pressure on it, it didn't dare to move. Whenever it remembered the power she contained yesterday, this red spider didn't dare to challenge the power of the strong. She reached out her hand, pressing on the red spider's back, under the black cloak's cover, only revealing a small section of her white delicate finger, reflecting on the red shell of the red spider. Extraordinary. Zhang Ye's vision unconsciously became drawn to the small section of the finger she revealed. She really was a girl, not to mention how young she is. Where did she come from? This young, but her strength is so powerful. I'll let you have it 5. Without a large family to rely on as a backing, plus the additional guidance of an expert, it's almost impossible to cultivate to this extent. Come here. Huang Beiyu lifted her head, looked towards Xue Chei. Xue Chei's heart trembled. The killing intent of the rank 11 is too strong. If he leans over and the red spider gets angry, he's afraid that there won't be any pieces of him left. But if he showed weakness at this moment, then Shi Tiandarin will be very disappointed with him. His bright future will then be destroyed. Xue Chei clenched his teeth. Nevertheless, use all his courage to walk over. Let's start the contract. Xue Chei swallowed a mouthful of his saliva, nodded his head. He slowly extended his hand out, carefully pressed it against the red spider's back, pressed it for a while, making sure it's okay. Then he started read the contract, to conclude a life contract with the red spider. A faint ray of golden light shot out from Xue Chei's palm. The lights burst, then it slowly vanished. At the same time, this brash red spider finally became truly docile. No one had saw that when Xue Chei's palm shot out a flash of golden light. Huang Beiyu's palm also have a faint black light that flowed into the red spider's body. Go against me. I'll let you have a taste of death. It succeeded. Xue Chei already can feel the red spider's breath within him. He tried calling to it, and received the red spider's response. He became the owner of a rank 11 spirit beast. He suddenly rose up to become one of the expert of Nanny country. His face glowed red. Xue Chei immediately gave Huang Beiyu a 90-degree bow. Thank you, Shi Tiandarin. No need to thank me. Congratulations to young Master Xue. Huang Beiyu said indifferently. Her natural character is cold. She doesn't like to be around numerous people or lively places. So she just nodded her head and walked out. She still acted just as arrogant as when she arrived. Shi Tiandarin. Luo run out after her, handed her a Zhanglan Mu card with the label of Buji Air on it. This is the money from the auction today. No commission was collected. A total of 300 million gold coins. Huang Beiyu clutched the Zhang Lanmu card. Her heart felt a little bit clear. This is 300 million gold coins, ah. In just one day, she earned 300 million gold coins, letting her rise from poverty. All this is all because of the efforts of that young man, Luo. Without him advising her, help her auction, she feared that she would have been worried about money for a long time. Thinking, Huang Beiyu extended her hand out, pat Luo's shoulders. Many thanks. Luo's handsome face immediately turned as red as freshly boiled shrimps. In a low voice he said, "No need to thank me. I am very happy to help you." Huang Beiyu didn't open her mouth to speak yet. The Crown Prince Zhang Ye's voice came from behind. "Shi Tian, sir, the palace feast tonight. We look forward to your presence." "I will. Thank you, Crown Prince, for inviting." To this unfeeling Crown Prince, Huang Beiyu doesn't have any evil intentions. This person's powerful, but isn't arrogant and egotistic. But Xueche's flowery words, strength isn't good, and likes to be arrogant and egotistic. He is the type she hates the most. "Shi Tian, sir, when you attend the palace feast, you can't wear all black." Princess Ingyi glanced at Huang Beiyu's black cloak. She really doesn't understand. Why would a powerful 9-star summoner would wear a black cloak that doesn't show her class at all? Hearing Princess Ingyi's words, Huang Beiyu blushed a little in shame. Attending the palace feast is an official occasion. No matter how arrogant she is, she still have to show some respect to the master. At the very least, the clothes need to be decent. "I'll let you have it 6. She lightly nodded her head, turned and unfeelingly left. Luo unhappily said, "Shi Tian Darren wearing that is also very good looking. Why are you so fussy about it?" "I wasn't talking to you." Princess Ingyi glared at the young man. With her head high, she left, making Luo turn red in anger, leaping up and jumping down. "Luo." A imposing voice sounded behind him. The patriarch of the Bujier family, Sai Si, walked out, patting Luo's shoulder. "This time you did great, ah." Luo immediately beaming with joy, seizing this opportunity to talk about conditions. "Then, father, let me become a mercenary." Patriarch Sai Si shook his head. Luo's strength, he knows best. Youngsters are impulsive, full of risk-taking spirit, full of desire to take risk. But if actual danger actually does appear, they would lose their lives at any moment. The life of mercenaries is bloody and hard. He's young, so he doesn't understand. When he grows up, then he would understand the painstaking efforts of a father. The things about the mercenary, we will take about it later. Father will now give you a mission. Hearing the first part, Luo's smiling face immediately fell. But after he heard the second part, his eyes widened. "What kind of mission?" "That Shi Tian Darren is very strong. Father wished that you would get close to her. If you can rope her in, it would be the best." Getting close to her, he appears to thought of something. Luo's face turned somewhat an unnatural red color. "What's the matter?" "Oh, nothing." Luo shook his head quickly. "Rest assured, I will make sure that I become friends with Shi Tian Darren." "Become friends?" Sai Si laughed bitterly in his heart. Such a strong 9-star summoner. How could she easily become friends with you? A little kid, who isn't even a summoner. This son of his, everything else is good. It's just his thinking is too naive. Huang Beiyu walked out of Buji Air Market, thinking about where she should go to buy a few decent clothes. A carriage suddenly stopped by her side. Jumping from the carriage is a figure with a graceful body. A young girl with a beautiful face. It's Xiao Yun. "Shi Tian Darren, where do you live? Let me send you back home." Xiao Yun very politely said, "I live in Princess Zhang Prefecture. Do you dare send me?" Huang Beiyu glanced at her, using a very hoarse/husky voice to say, "No need. Shi Tian Darren, today Yun'er was able to win the bid for your ice feather. We feel very honored and wish to invite you to a simple meal." "I don't know if Darren would want to give us face." Inside the carriage, concubine Snow also walked down, very passionately also invited her. "I have things to do." She coldly threw those 3 words. In Chinese character, it's 3 characters. Huang Beiyu walked around them and left. "Give you face? How much is your face's worth?" Xiao Yun looked at her back, Huang Beiyu's back. When she walked far away, they can still feel the aura of a strong expert around them, making it hard for people to breathe. Her face was both envious and jealous. Mother, when can I become a 9-star summoner? If she became a 9-star summoner, even if she's only a concubine's daughter, people would still look up to her. Don't worry, Mother will let your wish come true. Concubine Snow whispered. Today Prince Xiaoyao also came. Mother already prepared to send him a big gift, asking him to make you a Shi Sui essence cleansing pill. Essence cleansing pill? Xiao Yun was both surprised and happy. Mother, what you said is the truth. Essence cleansing pill is one of the more precious pill out of the other pills. The refining process is hard. Even if it's a level 6 pill master, the success rate is about 30%. I'll let you have it, 7. Because this pill not only need countless precious herbs, it also have to be done when the stars shift, when the sun and the moon alternate, refining at the most prosperous moment in heaven and earth. It can be said, there is only one chance to refine this type of pill per year, even though it does no harm to refiners. But because the process is too tedious and the chance for it to succeed is little to none, therefore over the years there have only been 2 or 3 successful examples. However, once it succeeds, there will be unexpected benefits. Essence Cleansing Pill is able to make up for the lack of natural talent. Originally, if someone with an average talent took the Essence Cleansing Pill, then they may be able to enter the ranks of geniuses. With Xiao Yun's talent now, if she had the help of the Essence Cleansing Pill, within 10 years, she would definitely be able to enter the realm of the 9-star summoners. At that time, she would be the first female 9-star summoner in Nanny country. But Yun Heir, Prince Xiaoyao doesn't easily help people to refine pills. Even if the emperor goes to plead, he won't necessarily agree to. Then what should I do? Xiao Yun became nervous. Concubine Shui exposed a treacherous smile. If I wasn't confident, how would Mother dare to let people send gifts? Xiao Yun smiled. Mother, you have an idea? Concubine Shui saw that there was many people around, scared that someone would overhear their conversation. So she pulled Xiao Yun onto the carriage, lowering her voice to speak. When Princess Zhang was still alive, Xiaoyao Wang was indebted to her. As long as Princess Zhang opens her mouth, however dangerous her request was, he will grant it to her. Xiao Yun widened her eyes. Mother, how do you know this much? Concubine Shui coldly smiled. Humph, in the years when I was with Hui when that cheap bee. TCH, she doesn't hide a lot of things from me. But Princess Zhang is already dead. She died, but there is still her daughter. Prince Xiaoyao is someone who regards highly of his promises. As long as Huang Beiyu opens her mouth, he will accept. You want me to go find that waste again? Whenever I see her, I am angry. She is obviously a waste, and occupying the status of the legal daughter. So hateful. When Xiao Yun thought of Huang Beiyu's status, the feeling of hate begins to appear. Concubine Shui pats her shoulder, comfortingly say, Yun Heir, holding in the hate for the moment, you will be able to accomplish something great. Xiao Yun humphed. Concubine Shui exclaims, when Mother finds out the whereabouts of Prince Xiaoyao, find a time, then take that waste out and go meet Xiaoyao Wang. Be sure to leave him a good impression. Mother, Prince Xiaoyao has money and potential. The status of a pill master is so great. Better than that Shui Che by a lot, right? Xiao Yun suddenly shy says. Concubine Shui looked at her for a moment, then she smiled and pinched her face. Mother's precious sweetheart is grown up? Mother, you are teasing me. Xiao Yun blushes. Concubine Shui smiled lovingly. How could Mother be teasing you? You have this thought. Mother is too happy to even think that. If you are able to marry Prince Xiaoyao, Mother doesn't need to look at Xiao family's face anymore. Your father has soft ears, that cheap slut. Qin, just by saying a couple words and your father would listen. All these years Mother has slowly become disappointed in your father. Now I am depending on you. Mother, don't worry, I will make sure Prince Xiaoyao likes me. Xiao Yun confidently exclaims. With Prince Xiaoyao as a backup, even father will have to look at their face. Concubine Shui happily said. However, don't give up on Shui Che either. After all, the power of the House of Nguo Palace is also big. Mother, I know. With your daughter's charm, I will let Shui Che be obsessed with me. and Prince Xiaoyao will marry only me. I'll let you have it. 8. Xiao Yun was very confident with her looks. She is only 16, already one of the most beautiful girl in the city of Lin Huai, plus with the strength of being a 3-star summoner. Don't know how many guys fell for her. That Prince Xiaoyao looks elegant, not hard to get close to. That Prince Zhanyi, however, is the real meaning of cold. For her to get close to him, she wouldn't dare to. Concubine Shui and Xiao Yun didn't know that their conversation was all heard by Huang Beiyu. The ice feather of the ice spirit bird was with Xiao Yun. Through soul perception, the ice spirit bird is able to know everything that happened near the ice feather. This is also one of the powers of the super spiritual beast, separation of souls technique. Inside the ice feather, its chi was moving around, would be able to mutually reflect one another. However, even though he was the main subject, he was only able to obtain only partial information. Through that ice feather, he wasn't able to feel any information. The woman's mind is most terrible. Only 2 days. Huang Bei you already knew. Compared to women like concubine Qin who shows her displeasure on her face aren't scary, what's scary are women like concubine Shui who is smiling on the outside but plotting something evil on the inside. Although she is arrogant and cool, but she never looks down on her enemy. She saw many examples of people betraying you when you need them the most. Women is the scariest living creature in the world. She is a scary woman herself, therefore. For concubine Shui who has a deep mind just like her, she needs to use a little method, with 1 ice feather, in exchange for 50 million gold coins, and is able to monitor this pair of mother and daughter anytime she likes, is pretty worth it. Foolish woman, wanna use me? Watch me play you to death, coldly hemphing. Huang Bei you walked into a clothing shop. Cloaks were her essential equipment. Without the cloak, how would she remain mysterious? Therefore, she specifically picked 2 cloaks that were wide and big, a black cloak that can completely block the body, and also taking 2 beautiful black robes. There is still a gap in the clothes of this era compared to her aesthetic. Brainstorming, she called the boss over. The people of the city all knew of a very strong 9-star summoner. Wearing a black cloak, the body was covered tightly. From the moment Huang Beiyu walked in, the boss and the workers started to be nervous. Even the customers in the store became silent, afraid to even breathe heavily, pairs of eyes all staring at her. Hearing Huang Beiyu's call, the boss immediately rushed over to her, carefully asking, "Darren, did you have any orders? Your store, can I order clothes according to the drawings?" Of course, obviously yes. Even if it isn't possible, if this Darren wants, then they need to find a way to make it. Good, I will draw 2 drawings. You guys will copy. Have it done for me as quickly as possible. Huang Bei you walked over to the counter side, taking a charcoal pencil, brushing 2 pictures on the white paper, handing it over to the boss, and putting a bag of gold coins on the way. The boss held the drawings with 2 hands, his eyes staring straight at it. It was the first time that he had seen such unusual apparels. How many days until this can be done? 2 days. 2 days will be enough. It is this Darren's command. Usually 1 day would be enough. However, they have never seen the styles on the drawings, therefore they need another day to analyze it. Huang Beiyu nodded. 2 days is very quick. She didn't need them immediately. Much thanks. Thanking the boss, Huang Beiyu grabbed the clothes she brought and left. After that, she went to Buji Air Market, bought a ring, even though it was just a low-graded one, surprisingly spent more than 10 million gold coins. The Palace Banquet, 1. Advanced level ring, is even more expensive than anyone can imagine. She suddenly thought that even though she had 300 million gold coins, she is still a poor person. In total, she bought many things and put everything into the bag. Then she made her way back to the house of Princess Zhang Prefecture, slowly sneaking into Lu Yun Pavilion, without anyone noticing, strolling from the backyard to the front yard. She saw Dong Ling who was walking around the courtyard anxiously. It just happens that she bought something for Dong Ling. Since it will be a while before the palace banquet begins, she decided to show her it. Dong Ling, I have something, miss. Dong Ling turned around to look at her, as though how she would be looking at a savior. You are finally back. What happened? Huang Beiyu's face fell. Her first thought was that someone had came to Luyun Pavilion to start trouble with Dongling. She already spoke privately to Pei Xiong to let her restrain the servants of the house, to not come to Luyun Pavilion to start trouble. Was Pei Xiong not able to fulfill this small order? Someone wants to bully her, okay. But if someone wants to bully Dongling, that's not fine. Who came to bully you? I will go teach them a lesson. With her strength, to kill someone without anyone knowing it, that is easier than crushing an ant. Dongling stunned for a moment, then immediately shook her head. No one was bullying me. These 2 days no one even dared to come. The servants in the house weren't like before, not targeting against me anymore. Then what is the matter? It's good that no one came to start trouble. She often went out, not able to look after Dongling all the time. This little girl has a kind heart and loyal to her. Not leaving her all these years, she was not willing to let Dongling to continue to suffer. Dongling pulled her to the room. While walking, she was saying, "Just now the second lady of the house sent someone over. Bring some things." Huang Beiyu was confused. That Xiao Yun would send her things? The sun must be rising from the west. On the bed in the room were 2 sets of clothes neatly placed, and some good textures of jewelries. She actually sent some things. Huang Beiyu picked up an outfit to look at. The texture of the clothes were pretty nice. It was made of satin and cloud gauze, the type of clothes that only rich families were able to afford. What idea is Xiao Yun trying to play at? Really came to please her, to prepare to meet Prince Xiao Yao. Dongling looked anxiously. The second lady wants you to make yourself presentable. In the evening, you would have to go to palace to attend the banquet. What? Huang Beiyu widened her eyes. Didn't they say I am seriously ill and contagious? That's why they don't want me to leave the house. That's what I responded to them. But the second lady said no matter what, today you have to go to the palace banquet. Huang Beiyu was thinking that this time it would be a bit difficult to do. No matter how strong she is, she doesn't know how to separate her souls. She had to use the status of Huang Beiyu to go into the palace with concubine Shui and Xiao Yun, and also use the status of Shi Tiandaran took. Looking at it, she can't push one side away. If Xiao Yun said not to go, that delicate first lady will definitely disagree. Having such a kind heart to send her clothes and even take her to the palace banquet, Huang Beiyu knew that they have other motives. Whether she goes or not, it's not up to her to make the decision. If she and Xiao Yun were to overturn one another, it will affect her plan, and if it turns into a big deal, she would have to show the identity of Shi Tiandaran. No, if her identity is revealed, she would have to kill concubine Shui and Xiao Yun quickly. It will be letting them off the hook too easily. How they had harmed Huang Beiyu before, and what happened with Princess Zhang. She wants them to pay her back 10 times as much. The palace banquet too. Slowly in her mind, she have a plan. Huang Beiyu took out everything she had bought today from her ring. Dongling's eyes widened as she saw the scene. Young miss, is that a space ring? Dongling rubbed her eyes several times. Yet she still doesn't believe what she's seeing. The price of a space ring, she's very clear on that. Their economic situation, she is also very clear on that. It's only a low-level space ring, Dongling. Since it's like this, I can't hide it from you. Today I will go to the palace banquet, but you must also come. Dongling nodded her head. Dongling will follow young miss to serve you. I definitely won't make you lose face. If going to the palace to attend the palace banquet, there will definitely be many noble young miss and young gentlemen. Those young ladies who are pampered since young would have groups of servant girls. The young miss is Princess Zhang Prefecture's daughter of the first wife, Huang Beiyu. If she doesn't have even one servant serving her, then it would be too embarrassing. Since she was small, Princess Zhang have taught her to study etiquette and rules. She also learned a few self-defense witchcraft. With her present, she won't let others bully the young miss. Huang Beiyu picked up the black robe she had bought today, turned and laughed at Dongling. I don't need you to go and serve me. Then what do you want this servant to do? Dongling don't understand. She is just a servant. If she doesn't go to serve the young miss, then what else would she do? This I'll explain slowly. First try out this clothes to see if it fits. Dongling is older than her by 1 or 2 years, but these 2 years by following Huang Beiyu, she had suffered a lot of hardships, yet she would also bear it patiently. All the tasty food, she would give it all to Huang Beiyu. She herself would just nibble on some dry steam buns. She would have no nutrients at all for a long time, and it's at the age where she's growing, so she's didn't grow much. So she looks around the same age as Huang Beiyu. Since it's the young Miss's order, Dong Ling wouldn't dare ask more. She took the clothes and put it on. Frowning, she said, "Young miss, this is men's clothing?" Huang Beiyu nodded her head. It is indeed men's clothing. Women's clothing would be colorful. She naturally doesn't like gaudy clothing. People in the dark world, towards beautiful colors, would avoid. She likes the color black, the same color as the night. It looks cold and hopeless. It suits you quite well. The size is just right. Dong Ling, in black men's clothing, looks a little big heroic. No wonder she learned a little bit of martial arts when she was small. Huang Beiyu then also took out the newly bought black cloak, put it on her, pulling the hat down to cover her face. Looking from closely, looking from far away, looks very similar. It's just that she's lacking some killing in tint. Young miss, what is it that you want to do? Dong Ling is completely confused, making her wear such strange clothes. If other people see hers, they would have thought that she's crazy. I want you to wear this set of clothes to attend the palace banquet. How can that be? Dong Ling lifted the hat, somewhat panting with rage. Young miss, please stop messing around. The people in the palace won't let me in dressed like this, ah? Today's young miss must be thinking about some random mess again. Princess Zhang had said, the outside world is a mess. She would prevent the young miss from going outside and make a fuss. As a result, she couldn't watch over the young miss, which let young miss to go out often to play. Now that she returned, she became like this. Huang Beiyu lifted her clear black pupil, deeply looked at Dong Ling. A smile full of confidence formed at the corner of her mouth. With this, you can definitely go in. From under the table, pulled out the bronze invitation that Crown Prince Zhang Yi have sent to her yesterday. The dazzling invitation suddenly made their simple and crude room brighten up. The palace banquet. 3. Dong Ling's eyes widened. Since little, she grew up in Princess Zhang Prefecture, so she have some knowledge. This kind of color and this kind of specific invitation, it's only used in the palace. This is the invitation to the palace banquet. Young miss, how could you have this? Is it sent by the Empress Dowager? Or is it sent by Princess Shihi? Dong Ling carefully took the invitation. Since the death of Princess Zhang, she haven't seen this kind of bronze invitation for many years. Touching it, there's a sacred feeling. Distracted, it seemed to her for a moment that Princess Zhang didn't die. They are still Lin Huai City's most glorious residents. The Empress Dowager and Princess Shihi are both not in imperial capital. How can they send an invitation to me? Huang Beiyu laughed. You're right. Dong Ling carefully opened the invitation. When she saw the name in the invitation was Sir Shi Tian, she thought her eyes were playing tricks on her. Sir Shi Tian? This name is somewhat familiar, but it's also unfamiliar. They don't know this person. When she saw that the name wasn't Princess Beiyu, Dong Ling's heart is suddenly somewhat heavy. The light of hope in her eyes disappeared. The subtle change in her expression, Huang Beiyu obviously saw it very clearly. Shaking her head and said, Dong Ling, I didn't steal this invitation, nor did I pick it up. The person it's inviting is me. But this name, it's clearly not the young missus. I am Shi Tian, Dong Ling. This invitation was given to me. No one knows that Shi Tian is actually Princess Beiyu. Do you understand? Dong Ling nodded her head. This is the alias that the young miss use outside.
Yes.
Huang Beiyu nodded her head seriously. I will follow Xiao Yun to the palace. You will use the identity of Shi Tian to enter the palace. Remember that no matter what happens, you can't open the cloak. Don't let other people see how you look like. And also don't talk to other people. Dong Ling listened. Her heart skipped quickly, imposing as someone else to enter the palace. If the emperor knows this, perhaps one might lose their head. Young miss, the palace is really strict. It's impossible to not take the cloak off. Trust me, you only need to have this invitation. No one will dare to block you. Huang Beiyu pat her on the shoulder, trying to make her feel at ease. Dong Ling nervously clutched her hands tightly. Her small body trembled. Huang Beiyu's black pupil sank, suddenly grabbed Dong Ling's hands. A sharp and intimidating essence flashed across her pupil. Dong Ling shuddered. With a weeping face she said, "Young miss, let's forget about it. I don't even know what kind of person Shi Tian is. How can I pretend to be him and enter the palace, if found out? With me here, what's there to fear?" Huang Beiyu is helpless. In such a short time, there's no way to change her thought of them being weak. After so many years of subservience, barely surviving, suddenly telling her, "Your family's young miss could be the most strongest person in the imperial capital. She most likely will faint. But time is running out. After she faint, just make her awake again." Seeing Dong Ling's nervousness and hesitance, Huang Beiyu suddenly said in a low voice, "Ice, come out." "Ice? Who is Ice?" Dong Ling looked around. Clearly there is no one. Who is the young miss calling? However, the next second, her eyes became bigger than copper bells, because inside their room suddenly appeared a huge body. The whole body of the Ice Luan spirit bird give out an icy aura. It's a spirit beast, a spirit beast with an ice attribute. Palace Banquet 4. The whole body covered in ice and snow. This is an advanced level spiritual beast. Rumor has it that even rank 11 ice property spiritual beast cannot hold the state of being in both ice and snow. How strong of a spiritual beast is this? "Young miss, quickly leave." Dong Ling shouted in horror. Her first thought was to protect young miss. It must be that she offended in Guo Gong yesterday. That's why he sent masters to take young miss's life. Dong Ling opened her arm to protect Huang Beiyu, who was behind, telling her to quickly run for her life. Huang Beiyu looked at the ice spirit bird, a feeling of speechless. Ice spirit bird at this level of spiritual beasts is able to freely control its own mind, under normal state, is as huge as a palace, now shrink to fit in the room. At first glance, Huang Beiyu noticed the ice spirit bird looks beautiful. In the past it is too huge, only looking at a portion of the body, always thinking it was a rough and huge beast, with such a huge brain, its big face. Now she doesn't have a specific impression on the ice spirit bird's face, only knowing it was a very big and big face. But now that she look at it, the whole body crystal snow white, the sparkling blue color, each feather containing ice and snow, pure without any flaw, except that pair of dark green eyes, the whole body not containing variety of colors. He looks like a phoenix in ancient Chinese mythology, the slender tail feathers, with an arrogant lazy gesture, containing 3 upturned ice feathers on the forehead, beautiful and amazing. At this moment the ice spirit bird proudly held his head up high, lazily glancing at Dong Ling, a type of dominating aura. "Dong Ling, he is called Ice, my spiritual beast." Huang Beiyu stood up, in the frightened eyes of Dong Ling. She walked over to the ice spirit bird, patting his beautiful ice wing. Dong Ling swallowed her saliva, her but sitting on the bed, with a widened mouth, not able to say anything. "Master, I think I frightened her." The ice spirit bird was proud of bringing such shock to a mortal. No worries, no worries. She'll be fine in a bit." Huang Beiyu sighed. Seeing that Dong Ling was still stunned, she wanted to change clothes. The clothes that Xiao Yun sent over had expensive textures, but the style is original. The color is very boring. Whatever beauty there is will be overshadowed. However, Huang Beiyu has a clear skin tone, with refined features. Even wearing a rag will also make her look beautiful and dignified. She wants to keep a low profile today, obviously, so she couldn't wear red or green. Ever since Princess Zhang had passed away, Huang Beiyu has never worn clothes with bright colors. This time going into the palace is different from at home. She couldn't just wear plain white clothes, so she just freely put on the clothes sent by Xiao Yun. Sitting in front of the mirror, looking at the girl in the bronze mirror, the little face clear from any makeup, the delicate spirit that hides between the eyebrows, the black long hair scattered on her cheeks, lined with bright black eyes, red-pink matte lips, with an underlying elegance. This face is still very young, only 12 years old, but between the picturesque face, you can still see the shadow of her past life. Pulling on her hair, Huang Beiyu felt helpless. Clothes she know how to wear, but hair she didn't know how to comb. These 2 days she just freely put on her hair and left the door. Since she was wearing a cloak anyway, no one would be able to tell. But in a while, she has to go to the palace. No matter what, she still needs to dress up well. As she was distressed, a pair of cool little hands took the comb from her hand. You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.